Guten Tag, podcast listeners. You have found JJ Meets World, specifically an episode featuring our good friends Nikki Rodenburg and Colin Froeber. We're probably not that good of friends, so we'll just leave it at acquaintances. This episode is neat. They're going to talk about their careers, what they've been doing, some fun history. Of course, this one ties into our Trollwood News at Noon because Colin Froeber was a big part of that as well. And you guys have an opportunity to get on the ground floor of a brand new movie that's going to be produced in this area. So wait with bated breath. Plus, JJ's going to tell you a disgusting story where the punchline is Swiss cheese. All of this and more on today's episode of JJ Meets World.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled and he's fun and then he twirls as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called J.J. Meets World.
For 2 years, I have had one item on my birthday list. That's right. I'm a grown man who puts together a birthday list because people love me that I haven't received yet. And I haven't purchased it for myself yet because I keep thinking this is a great gift for someone to get me. And it's an adapter you put on to your garage door so that it'll hook your garage door opener up to Wi-Fi in your house so that I can open and close my garage from anywhere I want using my in-home wireless signal.
Okay, first question then. What are some scenarios where you would need that and you don't currently have it? Because to me,
Excellent
anytime
question.
I'm opening a garage door, it's when I am driving in or driving out of it with a car.
Every year I forget about the date I've set with the company who turns on my sprinkler system.
Okay.
And you might be like, you pay a company to come. Well, yeah, because they've got to go downstairs and they're twisting pipes. And then there's a machine that blows everything out and then they make sure that they all work. So yes, I have a company. I also like employing local companies who need to make their nut. So here's the situation. Every time they show up, I'm gone. And so they'll call and I have to give them my passcode. I've got one of those white, passcodes. And so they're, this is embarrassing. The last time they called, they're like, what's your passcode? And I was like, it's a COOL. Enter. And that's cool. And I'm like, yes.
That could have been far worse.
Oh, it has been far worse. Ham with 2 M's was one of them one year.
Well, I used to live with our friend Brad Delzer, and the whole time I lived with them for our Wi-Fi at home, we just used a router that I owned, and so I was the one that would always set it up. And so I would make sure that the password was embarrassing enough that when his family came over, he'd have to tell them what the password is to get in.
Such as? Can you think of a good one?
I think the last one I did was Sex Monkey 69, and he had to say that to his mom. I think that's pretty awesome.
Now, I think that is a good way of doing things because that is a password everyone asks for. Everyone gets to that point like, was Wi-Fi password here?
Yeah.
And we all assume it's just fine if we get on the Wi-Fi. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi in anyone's home or business. Have you ever been turned down and be like, no, our Wi-Fi is private. You can use your cell data.
I mean, I haven't, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened because it's not like it's, hey, may I use your bathroom? Actually, it is kind of like, hey, may I use your bathroom?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want you using my bathroom. No, you be here and you have to go potty, and that's it.
I have a guest Wi-Fi that I've set up through my router. And so I have a guest bathroom in my house.
Yeah, but you entertain guests. I don't have guests over ever.
No. Well, okay, so let's say you're being kidnapped. You've been kidnapped.
Okay.
You've been kidnapped.
And the kidnappers want my Wi-Fi password?
And they want your Wi-Fi password. Are you going to give it to them?
Well, yeah. If they're what's the quid pro quo? Am I being let go?
No. They need this so they can upload the Facebook Live of your ransom.
Well, they don't need my internet source, I bet, then at that point. I mean, if they're advanced enough that they're going to kidnap me and ransom. I don't know who they're ransoming.
First of all, advanced enough? I feel like I could kidnap you just with what's in my car right now.
I don't know who in my family they would possibly ransom for money.
maybe the general public. they're like, this gem. And they're like, this is only the producer of the podcast. He's not even the host.
I mean, we've got some non-perishable food items we could donate, but that's about it.
How much do you think you'd be worth ransom right now? Someone kidnapped you.
I mean,
what do you think is the most? What do you think legitimately is the most money someone could come up with?
What's the timeline?
48 hours.
48 hours? Okay.
No police.
I mean, I have extended family members who are very wealthy. So my guess is my dad would get on the phone and we'd have...
Yeah, but just to preface it, I don't think it has to do so much with wealth, because even wealthy people, most wealthy people don't have fluid funds available to them. I'm saying, like, what do you think people are going to be able to come up with? Do you think the community is going to come out? Do you think, like, everyone's going to go max out their ATM card?
I don't think you can go to the community if you want no police, because the police will then know. Right, like you need to do this under the radar. You need to go to just one or two people who can help you out with it.
They'd be like, "Did you post about this on Facebook?" And I said, "Yeah, but I didn't go to the police."
Yeah, I mean, knowing my extended family members, I would assume that they could probably get $100,000 together.
Wow,
I bet they could, but I have no idea. You know what? No, they can't. So don't come kidnap me because you're not going to get it.
I was thinking maybe at the most like 25 from me.
Yeah.
In 48 hours. And I only say that because I'm the planner in most situations.
There's nothing no one could go get a signature loan in your family.
Right. Or they wouldn't be organized enough to do it. It'd be like, I thought you were doing it. No, I thought you were doing it. Well, where's JJ? He's the one who normally organizes this kind of thing. So when we go on a family trip, I'm the one who prints out the itinerary. Mm-hmm. I'm a member of several rewards programs. And the one that I really like is Hilton Honors.
Okay.
I like the Hilton family of hotels.
Nice hotels.
And it's mainly because of the show Mad Men. Because Conrad Hilton is a character in it.
Yeah,
Connie Hilton. And after I started watching that show and like got into that season, I was like, oh, I'm going to stay at Hilton Properties. So I don't know if that was a marketing piece of genius or if it was just they thought it'd fit time-wise. And it was weird, like, Don, do you ever think about God?
So with my thinking on rewards programs, though, with businesses is that to really get something out of it valuable, you need to use their services a lot. Mm-hmm. So how often are you staying at a Hilton hotel within a year?
Oh, pretty frequently. I tour a lot with line benders.
Oh, okay. So you're always going to Hilton hotels then.
When I can help it.
And you're racking up the points because you're not just getting your place, but everyone else on the crew. Okay.
And the businesses are paying for it. Occasionally, I will run into a situation where the secretary at the company who has set up my arrangements, he or she is also a Hilton Honors member, and they know how to play this game. And so they'll be like, all right, and Brandon will be getting these points. And I'll be like, damn it. He or she has already put their number down. So those are frustrating moments in my life.
What kind of bennies do you get then if you accrue a bunch of points with the Hiltons?
Well, of course, free nights. That's a big thing.
Okay.
But then they've got other partners. So
like a credit card company has?
Yeah.
Or like if you use at certain places you can get different points or discounts and stuff.
I can get more points, but also like some of their partners are like rental car places. So I can use my points towards rental cars. Or I think at one point I was able to buy a KitchenAid mixer with points.
You're the most domestic man my age I've ever, I know. Nikki and Colin were right. Like you're sort of the exception to the millennials rule when it comes to the things you get out of the catalog, Like Edward Norton before he goes schizoid and Fight Club. Mm-hmm. That's who you're like, why was he upset?
It sounds perfect.
That was winning. Do you see his furniture? It was fantastic.
I'm to the point of where I've been through not one but two blenders in my adult life. And not because the other one was bad, but because it was like, I've got to have this new blender.
I would like to see a movie where you meet a Fight Club identity in your brain, but you don't want to do it. So he's just always like, come on, man, let's fight. No, I don't want to. I've got to go to work tomorrow.
No, I've got to use this bath balm before it expires next week. There's real dairy in this.
This kind of character belongs to like a cheese club. And,
the first rule of Cheese Club is you tell everyone about Cheese Club. By the way, is Cheese Club a thing?
Should be.
Yeah, if it's not, I mean, there's wine clubs, there's book clubs.
They do have cheese classes at the fancy schmancy grocery store we got downtown here. The like the natural foods place, whatever it's called.
Well, okay, you gotta be careful because we've got Prairie Roots downtown, but we also have Natural Foods is another grocery store.
I think it's Prairie Roots. I think it's that one. That's on University.
You say
right?
Roots?
Yeah.
You say Roots.
Oh yeah, cool. Anyways,
because it's a double O. So like, do you say Toots or do you say Toots?
Toots is just not an appropriate thing to say to anyone.
Do you say Boots or Boots?
I don't wear boots.
You don't wear boots? Oh, those are some nice cowboy boots. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, they got cheese classes there.
Mm-hmm.
You can go learn about cheeses.
Does a gun shoot or does it shoot?
That's how I learned that cheddar is the process through which the cheese goes through. So for something to be a cheddar, that's because it was cheddared in the making process. Yeah. And all the orange coloring you see, fake. Like
just to set it aside, I imagine like to make this cheese stand out, they initially added that orange color.
The orange color is just basically added because we all expect it for some reason to be orange now. So that's fine because orange cheese is delicious.
Me too. I love when cheeses have multiple colors. So like Mexican cheese usually does. Kojak cheese is another cheese I enjoy. Manchego cheese is a cheese I've been into lately. Jill's uncles taught me this thing where you brown butter. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Browned butter. It's a simple process. And you take a nice wedge of Manchego cheese and you pour the browned butter over it. And it makes it super savory and it softens the cheese itself. And you eat that maybe with some canned oysters.
Nice.
And smokehouse almonds.
If you want to bring your grilled cheese sandwiches up to the next level, start using Jarlsberg cheese. Because it's really tasty. It's like a Swiss, but zestier than a Swiss, but it's got a really nice melt to it. It tastes really nice, kind of smoky. Jarlsberg cheese. You can get it at any grocery store.
Let me tell you about something I Googled that's speaking of Swiss cheese.
Okay.
After we recorded the podcast that you're about to listen to with our friends Nikki Rodenburg and Colin Froeber, you guys are really going to enjoy this because they're going to tell us all about a project that they are doing in the North Dakota, Minnesota area. I drove about 4 blocks and my car started going and the RPMs are going up and I lost power in the car. So it's like there was nothing spinning, like the transmission went out or something.
Yikes.
So I happened to be going down a hill at a time. And so I stopped and I parked. And then I turned off the car, put the parking brake on, took it off, got it back. And so then it went back into first gear and it was fine. And I was going up a hill and you're probably like, how the fuck does this lead to Swiss cheese? But I'll tell you.
Those are the exact words.
And so I got halfway up this hill and I started to roll back because I was losing power. So I rolled back into a parking space. I parallel fucking parked on a reverse roll using just gravity. I owned that. And still got a $20 fucking ticket from the police department that I think I'm going to fight. So I called Jill 7 or 8 times and she doesn't pick up. Now it's only 10 o'clock. But I decided, well, I'm going to have to walk home. So
could have called me, buddy. I would come pick you up.
I thought about that, but I was like, he's probably already home. He's probably already home at this point. So I start walking. Plus, you had to get some Jenny Craig's into your freezer.
Yeah, that's
so I
right.
start walking. I'm walking. And I rubbed the back of my ear, and I had worked out yesterday before I went to work. And I didn't have a time to shower after my workout. So I'd only had my morning shower. And then I smelled my finger, and I'm like, oh, that smells rank. And then there's this old adage of like, oh, wash behind your ears. Don't forget to wash behind your ears. And I thought, why is that such a thing? So I Googled, why does the back of my ear stink? And it's a mixture of, it's a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. There's also a gland back there, apparently, that causes some stinkiness. But most of the Google results said, why does behind my ear smell like Swiss cheese? And the WebMD article I read...
This is a deep cut, man.
Yeah. The WebMD article I read included sometimes has an odor similar to Swiss cheese. And I thought, I smelled my finger again. I'm like, that does not smell like Swiss cheese. How many people... First of all, how low a quality of Swiss cheese are most people eating? Or have I just...
So
do I have a weird body?
So your ears smell more like a blue cheese? Is that what you're saying?
More like a Jarlsberg. I mean, if I had to point it out, that's why your idea for grilled cheese makes me kind of sick to my stomach. Might as well have ear juice.
You might just have a condition, JJ.
Should I get that checked out?
Absolutely. Go to your doctor. Your head smells like cheese.
So, head cheese.
Yeah.
Have you ever called Ask a Nurse?
Yes.
So everyone I've talked to who's ever called Ask a Nurse always says the same thing. The nurse always says, go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the hospital. I can't diagnose you over the phone. If you're bleeding out of your rectum, go to the hospital. That's why I called Ask a Nurse first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder, why are we even allowing this service to exist? Shouldn't it just be a recording of like, you've reached Ask a Nurse. Go to the hospital.
Well, I think largely it's because the reason you're calling Ask a Nurse is you have no idea how seriously to take the thing that's happening. So if anything, they're the ones going, yep, serious enough, you should leave. You should go. But like I've called before and not had that response where it was, you're probably dehydrated. This is what you should do, or something like that. I never had a nurse send me to the hospital over the phone.
Really? Oh man, they all
so.
told me go to the hospital.
I kind of know when it's time to go to the hospital, and I just go.
Well, I better go to the hospital and get my cheese head checked out.
Yeah, get that checked out.
While I'm doing that, good news, I've got horrible, horrible health insurance, so you'll have more than enough time to listen to this podcast with Nikki Rodenburg and Colin Froeber. They're friends of ours from high school.
Both live out in New York right now.
Yeah, and they're making a movie, and they're asking for a little bit of help, so it would be great if you could do something nice like open your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
You're already probably supporting JJ Meets World. Thank you very much,
Thank you very
savvy
much.
individuals. And so they're asking for some help with this. Their Kickstarter is going to include things where you could have a walk-on role. So if you are a stage parent and you would like your child to have a role in a real movie with people with real credits, this could be a good opportunity. And what I like is...
If you got the Benjamins.
Yeah, and it might not even cost you a Benjamin. I don't know how their pricing tiers goes. Might cost you a Franklin. A couple Benjamins or a Franklin.
Couple Jeffersons. They still make those.
Do they? I don't know. Oh, yeah, they are making those, huh? If you haven't gotten the joke yet, Benjamins and Franklins are the same thing. Why did he end up on money?
Because he was a founding father still, even though he wasn't an elected official. Yeah. But he was a huge deal.
Because Alexander Hamilton, he wasn't a president, but he's on money too.
Yeah.
How come we haven't put anybody else on money recently?
We need to. I would be fully in favor of replacing all the people who are on money right now with new people.
With new people, or at least a newer drawing, right?
Yeah.
Let's have a new artist rendering.
Other people who are integral to American history. So members of the civil rights movement. Other people during war or things like that, people that we want to honor.
I mean, we're knighting. Some Americans are being knighted.
Or just eagles. We just put eagles on everything and then call it good.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if when you opened up your wallet, it went like, proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
I just think it'd be great if I opened my wallet and there was some money in there.
Just in general. All right. That does it. Let's get into this thing. It's JJ Meets World with Nikki Rodenburg and Colin Froeber.
JJ Meets World.
Colin Froeber, Nikki Rodenburg, welcome to JJ Meets World.
Thank you.
Hi.
We're excited to have you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to make it to the JJ Meets World studios. Going on outside of the studios right now is some kind of a mug making class. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, can I just stop doing this and go make a mug?
Okay.
With a face?
Yeah. Should we?
Could you get out of here, please, Colin?
Yeah.
I can handle it
This
on
is
my
fun.
own.
Thank you,
Colin,
everybody.
fuck off.
Bye.
Get out of here.
Fuck you. Goodbye.
I like to let it be known early in the podcast that saying fuck is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you say saint fuck?
To say fuck.
To say fuck.
Tucker, in an earlier episode, had a long tirade about how he hates one particular county sheriff in North Dakota.
Whoa.
Sheriff Travis Paper from
Are we
Sargent
getting
County.
political this
What a
early?
name.
Yeah,
Sheriff-
he's a
Mr. Paper.
piece of shit.
What's his name?
Sheriff Travis Paper.
Oh, dear.
Sargent County. Fuck
That's a
that guy.
great dog name.
It's a great dog name. Colin.
Okay.
He's just trying
Come
to
here, Travis
introduce his
Paper. Come here.
I'm trying to
Pride
tell
and
you
Joy. Colin
that I have a
has-
running list of amazing dog names. Can
That's
I
good.
read some of them?
Yes.
Right
Oh,
now?
do you really? Yeah. Oh, please.
yeah.
coming out of
This
the gate with
is
material.
this is one of the
Fill the
reasons
space,
why
but,
I
I'm
know
searching.
I've known for a long time that I love Colin Froeber is that he and a lot of people we know do love great names. Like I keep a running list at home of just awesome names that I find are often racehorse names.
Oh no, mine
Very
are all
good.
dogs.
And then they get used for something. So one time Greg and I had a filmmaking team and we used a horse's name, which was Dr. Something Special. That was the horse's name. I thought that's such a
the first
great
one
name.
that I
It's a
looked
great
at
name.
on this dog name list that I have is Tom and Pod's near-death experience, which is a good dog name.
What would that be? Like a Sheltie?
No, mostly bulldogs. I'm thinking mostly bulldogs.
okay.
Let's see. Susie Cream Cheese, Dr. Ellen Crapster Pragant,
Kiosk.
Dr. Wayne Odinsky. Kiosk is a good one. Hoagie Carmichael.
These sound like good fusion band names.
Yeah,
too.
that's also Senator Heidi Heitkamp is on my dog name list. Sorry if you're listening. The Honorable Senator Heidi Heitkamp. The Honorable Carolyn Pickles is a dog name. Yeah.
I like the title. The
Thank
honorable.
you. Yeah, I mean, it would be full, the whole thing when you talk to the dog.
Do only judges get that? Who gets honorable?
Dogs.
And dogs.
And dogs.
I feel like back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean back when people announced folks when they arrived at parties. Wouldn't they be like, the Honorable Lord and Lady Cavish? Didn't they do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I've
what
never
if you
been to
weren't?
one
What
of
if
those
you didn't?
parties.
I think, isn't the royal family, don't they still have names like that? Because then they took Princess Diana's away.
Because she died?
No,
Colin,
prior.
'cause she
I don't
got-
think they take it
she
away
got
because of you died.
To divorce.
Oh,
you,
that's
you
right.
went and died.
I
Now
forgot.
you lose your title now.
Sorry, my royal
Her
family
Royal
knowledge.
Highness. That's not the same thing. Never mind.
Yeah. If you could have a prefix to your name, what would it be? Do you want a
my God.
doctor? Do you
No.
want a sir or a lady?
Oh God. I wouldn't even. Let me think. Can you come back to me, JJ?
Yeah, we can.
Nikki?
I didn't think that this was going to be that difficult.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many options actually. Though.
I mean, you can invent them.
Okay.
You sure could.
Can you give me an example?
I'd like Master Sergeant.
Master Sergeant.
Yeah, Master Sergeant J squared. Is what I'd go
Darth
with.
is a prefix.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
no,
is true.
I'm not into the Darth.
Darth Froeber.
No. Let me think about it. You got one?
I'd be like, smell it up, Nicole Rodenburg.
Smell it up?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, if I entered a room like that,
Smell it up.
smell it up, Nicole Rodenburg.
Is this like you entering the basketball court? Or
Yeah.
like,
The basketball court of my life.
Okay, then what's your pump up song when you enter the basketball court as a player? Do you have that?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. It's What's New Pussycat.
Oh,
Yeah. Because here's the
Sexy.
thing. People wouldn't expect it, right?
They wouldn't.
But no
From
one
you,
gets
JJ?
no one
Yes,
gets
I would
bummed out.
expect it.
Right, yeah. What I'm coaching. If I'm doing anything on a basketball court, that's the best of my abilities. I'm trying to get a ragtag group of inner city kids to play their hearts out so that they don't lose the rec center to the rich kids.
See, I want
that's my role.
I want the movie where the high school team is kicking ass, and then they get a new coach, and then everything just falls
And then it
apart
just
at
falls
the end.
apart?
That's a much better film.
They just lose.
Let's
they learn
write
what
that down.
losing's
That's
like.
a
Yeah,
really good idea.
that's a
That's a-
way better life lesson, first of all.
Yeah.
The thing you need to learn before you graduate from high school is how to lose.
Yeah. Well, because it's always the stereotype that it's the athlete who won in high school is the one that can't let go of those
Yeah,
wins.
it's really sad.
Right. But if you had nothing to look back on like that, you'd be forced to make new memories.
Yeah, that's why I'm so happy now.
Yeah.
Because you
you
lost
at
so
football.
Because I
much
lost
in football.
so
You lost the-
many
you lost the
basketball games. I
championship
lost
throw.
The shit. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did you go to any games when you're Bruins,
We're
Fargo
Bruins.
South grads?
Go Bruin.
Do you remember going to any sporting events?
I went to
yes.
homecoming.
We all went
We
to
made
homecoming.
real fabulous costumes for
Oh yeah, I
homecoming.
wore a yellow hat with the spinny
I think I
dinghy.
repurposed a dance costume.
We were those.
We were those kids. And we also had to
So
sing
you
at
went to the
them
game in that costume?
in a costume. It
Yeah.
was brune colored,
Yeah, it was yellow and brown. Yellow and brown.
yellow and brown. Those
Yeah.
are
By
our
the
colors.
way to go when you're choosing
Yeah,
colors.
great
I know,
job.
real
So good,
bottom of
buddy.
the barrel.
Yellow and brown. Nicely
Yellow
done.
and brown.
Yeah, gross.
And we sang at them with
We sang on
for-
the football field as pizzazz.
as pizzazz.
Probably.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That was
Hey.
So we're listened to
Wow.
in several countries
Hey, everybody.
as well
Oh,
as
okay.
across the United States.
Well,
Oh,
So if
man.
you don't know what pizzazz is,
Yeah.
would you please inform the listeners?
pizzazz
Let's
was
be careful here.
an incredible award-winning.
Literally, I won the award.
Colin did win best soloist out of
Pizzazzer.
against nobody at our national
Whoa.
competition against no one.
That's true. All right.
You know what, Colin? You still won.
Thank you.
It doesn't
Did.
matter that it
Best
wasn't against
soloist
anyone.
in America against
It was our
nobody.
show choir, and we wore red sequins.
Yep.
and we danced.
And we sang.
Led by the Michael Radnicki.
Led by the
who
Michael
might
Radnicki.
also be listening to this podcast
He
right now.
probably
Hi,
is.
Mr.
What's up, Brad?
Radnicki.
Hey, Rad.
How were you in Pizzazz your entire high school career?
Oh, JJ,
don't even
this is a
bring
sore
this
spot.
stuff
How
up.
dare
It's
You
you?
wrong
don't
with
you don't like Pizzazz?
We-
No, you're talking about the trauma of our child. I had
Yeah,
to
this was
go
tough.
home
I
from
like-
school when I didn't get into pizzazz at the end of ninth grade.
Oh, okay.
I walked
yes,
down
this
the
is
hallway.
delicious.
I turned the hallway to the choir room, and there were 4 of my best friends. They had been kidnapped because that's how you got into pizzazz. They kidnap you out of
Oh,
bed
yeah.
and take you to breakfast. They were wearing like red glitter and
yeah.
they were hugging
Yeah.
each other and like
And
crying.
crying,
And
yeah.
I just took one look at them and I burst into tears and I made my mother come get me.
I actually didn't know that whole thing.
Yeah, I exited the building before anyone could see. It was really
Wow.
traumatic.
Oh,
I hope that's how Glob opens.
Oh man, that's how the sequel to Glob will open. It should be, yeah, exactly. I don't have anything traumatic about that. I just didn't make it twice.
We didn't make it twice. No, you made it. We didn't make it once, Colin. We didn't make it once.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm not that bad.
We're not that
Were
bad.
the politics of getting in pretty cutthroat? Like, did you have to? Was it a zero-sum game where
No, you either
could
got
only
in or
win-
you didn't. So yeah,
Okay.
0-sum.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Tucker. I know you're a Fargo North kid, so maybe you don't really know these things, but pizzazz was a big deal.
It was such a big deal.
So yeah,
I have memories of Pizzazz coming to my elementary school and
Oh,
me
yeah,
being blown
we
away,
all do.
being like, I didn't know that people could have this much talent.
Me too. That's
Yeah.
why we wanted to do it.
Did you sing that song about like farmer tans?
Yep.
Yep.
1,000%.
I remember that from when I was a
I do
youngster
too.
because
I
they would
do
bring
too.
everyone into the gym and Pizzazz performed, and I remember the farmer tan song because all the
Yep.
guys got down to just tank tops.
It was sexy.
Oh my God.
It was risky.
I don't remember us doing that. I don't remember the tank tops. I remember the song. You think I would remember the tank tops, but I do not.
Well, and it
I
was
guess
a different.
you do. I guess
it was
had
a
an
different.
impression
It
on
was a
you,
different
JJ.
time. Oh yeah, trust me. Listen, there are certain moments from my childhood that have shaped the human being I am today. Whenever I see a tank top, I think to myself,
Farmer tan.
yeah, I think farmer tan, and I can smell stew because our cafeteria was also our gymnasium. So
Oh yeah.
Yep.
while all the
Wow.
Pizzazz kids are performing, you could hear pans banging and you could smell stew vividly.
Just be happy
my
you didn't have a
God.
carpeted gym
You had
Why?
a carpeted gym?
at Horseman,
That's just called a room, Tucker.
What's wrong with a carpeted gym? Oh, I guess you can't bounce.
I would love-
which was also the
basketballs.
cafeteria.
Gross.
And the carpet was really
Industrial.
industrial carpet.
Oh, I love it.
Ew,
brown industrial
No,
carpet.
elementary school children should never be
All they
allowed
do is
brown
puke.
carpet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you just
No.
was it called the rug burn room?
Yes.
Because you were
Really?
doing regular gym
Gym.
You
things,
did
right?
gym.
Kickball
You
and
just
everything
fall
inside of it.
down and
On
And then
carpet?
get hurt. Yeah.
How did you bounce things? I don't know sports. How did you bounce balls?
I mean, same way you bounce balls in any old room.
No, but
No,
on
they
other
bounce
room
on this.
You probably had to give it more oomph though, right? Because
That's
the
why
carpet.
he's so strong today.
I think I would have sucked on either floor. I wasn't really a
You weren't an
athletic kid.
athlete?
No. Never have I ever done a pull-up.
Never have I ever
Really?
done.
Never have
pull-up.
I ever done a pull-up.
Really?
I don't think so.
I've done one in my life. I was in 3rd grade.
Was that on purpose?
Was it during the presidential
Yeah.
fitness challenge?
Yeah, presidential fitness challenge. Only
Oh.
time.
That's when I failed in front of my gym teacher, Mr. D, and he actually just told me to quit.
What?
Like, I was trying to do it, and he was like, "Come on, Tucker. Yeah, don't worry about it, buddy."
Oh man.
Oh my
I just didn't
god.
get one.
Were you
I-
chunky?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I mean, even when I wasn't chunky, I had no upper body strength.
I mean,
I was
yeah.
reading comic books.
Oh.
I wasn't playing ball games.
They don't still have that anymore, I don't
The
think.
carpeted gym.
No, the presidential
fitness-
fitness challenge. Because
Not with this president.
Yeah. Please.
His fitness challenge is how many burgers can you
Yeah,
eat
exactly.
in an
You're
hour?
telling me that kids don't run the 9-minute run?
The 9-minute
No.
run. You just said those words and a chill went down my back, JJ. I almost
I'm
threw
sure
up.
we all have like some deep understood psychological issues from being forced to perform in front of all of our classmates too. Like,
Yeah.
we got
9-minute
weighed in front of
run.
people.
Oh yeah.
JJ
Oh, yeah.
cheated at the 9-minute run.
How do you
did.
cheat at the 9-minute
I did.
run?
So we would instead of it used to be where you would have a partner and your partner would keep track of the number of laps you did.
I don't think
and
we
then
did
they were
that.
like, "Listen, we're gonna get this thing going. So as you pass, you're gonna grab popsicle sticks as you
Oh,
go
yeah.
by." And so what I would do is I would get done and then immediately go and put my popsicle sticks in. And he'd be like, "Well, how many did you have?" And I'd be like, 17. And I would lie. And so I have
What
two
is that
things.
number of laps you did?
Yeah.
He ran
Supposedly?
10 miles.
I ran
in
10 miles, and
9
they're
minutes.
like, really? Be like, well, you tell me. How many of those are
Do the
covered in
math.
sweat?
Count the popsicle stick.
And it was so the worst thing that ever happened to me in gym is you could climb a rope or a pole
Yes.
that was in our gym. And I climbed the pole, which is obviously very rigid. I got to the top, I rang the bell, super excited, and then I looked down and I freaked out and I koala'd onto that pole, and the gym teacher had to climb the rope,
No.
swing himself over to the pole and grab me and bring me down. And at the same time, he's like, everyone stop what you're doing because I can't monitor you while I go get Gordon down from the pole.
Wow.
And I was recently in my elementary school, and I looked at that, and I was like, that's high. I mean, this gym was high. So I think that I made a wise choice and not breaking my
that was
little
elementary
bones.
school?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was like 12th
Yeah,
grade.
A,
I was
that's
like,
high
I
to
remember,
go
I
up
remember
if
when that
you're
happened.
itty bitty, and B, it's not
Yeah.
like they teach you to climb.
That was
No.
your worst day in gym.
That was the worst day I had in gym.
My worst day in gym was the night before my gerbil Nikki had died.
You had a gerbil
You
named Nikki.
named it after me.
Oh, I guess I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I
you
wish
did.
I'd made eye contact with you when I said Nikki. I didn't. I was on Colin at that point. But my gerbil died the night before, and I was having a tough time with it. And I started
man.
crying in gym class, and Mr. D called me a crybaby.
Oh my God, is this the same
Whoa.
gym teacher?
Same gym teacher, which I'm saying
he
only
still
bad.
around?
I don't think so. I don't know. We had to call him Mr. D because his name was Mr. Dick.
No.
And
Stop
you can't.
it.
No, I'm serious. And you can't let elementary school kids call a teacher.
How
Mr.
did you
Dick.
know his name was Mr. Dick?
Mrs. Lisco slipped up and called him that.
Maybe she just
And then
fucking
well, you just-
hated him.
Yeah.
You just have to look at the
Mr.
yearbook
Dick
too.
over here.
It was
Calling
in the
you a
yearbook
crybaby.
too. So once you finally like go to the yearbook and go, oh,
Was it
okay.
like DIQUE?
no DICK?
That's bad. If that's your name,
Don't
change your
be-
name.
yeah,
And
or
don't go
be
into
an
elementary school
teacher.
gym.
Jeez.
Ugh.
Yeah, do something
a
important like
sadist.
sell insurance.
He was
Yeah.
an old man
Please.
then, so I'd be surprised if he was still kicking.
R.I.P. Mr.
But I hold
Dick.
nothing. I have nothing but beyond those two bad memories. I've got good memories of Mr. D.
Those are pretty bad memories. though.
He's from a long time ago. He probably didn't have like a present father.
It's good for you to dig deep into like why these guys chose
hate you.
a career where you're constantly forcing kids to underperform, right? Because in
Yeah.
elementary school,
Yeah, what are
let's
your
face it.
expectations?
Right, exactly. Like, are the first graders actually going to be able to play a structured game of freeze tag?
Absolutely not.
They
Never.
just learned to wipe their butts like 2
Right.
years ago.
And that's being generous.
Yeah.
For some of us. I'm looking at Tucker while I say that.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
guessing.
used to use water for like 5 years, and then it
to
switched
wipe
to
your
paper.
butt?
I'm kidding.
Gross.
You liked
I
it.
feel like he's not kidding. I feel like he's telling the truth. Are you? Did you have a wiping problem?
Actually, no. I actually just tried to what's it called, a bidet,
A
for the
bidet.
first time
Where?
at last year in Vegas, and it
Changed your
changed
life?
my life.
Really?
Yeah.
I have never felt so pampered,
Wow.
so I need to get one now.
You can get an attachment.
Yeah, that's got to
An
probably
attachment to what?
Your
gonna,
toilet.
your toilet.
I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't
Does
get
it?
how it works.
Okay, here's my question: where does it pull the water from? Not from like
The tank, probably the
tank.
upper
from
tank.
the tank.
The upper tank.
Yeah, not like your. It's not like
Doesn't
taking
be like
your
Eddie
piss and
Gross.
shit and just putting it on your asshole. It's taking water and cleaning it off.
It's great. I mean, I would love one.
Have you experienced one yourself, Nikki?
I can't remember, honestly.
But you've gone down, like you've been on Amazon and been like, oh,
Oh, I've
add
looked
this
at
to the
them
wish
for
list.
sure on Amazon. We have in my apartment like a toilet like they have, I guess, in prisons.
A squatty
Like
potty?
the one that
Well,
you
we
make
do have a squatty
stainless
potty,
steel
but-
one?
in it.
No, like the kind where I guess it's not stainless steel, but the kind with the handle, it's just a metal
Oh, like,
pole and you have to
It's an industrial toilet.
an industrial,
It's like, yeah,
we have
it's
an
like a
industrial
public-
toilet.
Didn't you just describe a toilet? Like, well, it's got a bowl and a handle.
But it doesn't
and-
have a back, and it's just got like
Yeah,
a
there's no
metal
tank.
thing.
It's
There's no tank.
The
Oh.
pipe feeds right into it. So
Oh,
when you
yeah.
flush it, it's
It's extremely loud. That is.
yeah,
that
so
is-
if you have something you want to flush, you can bring it to my house.
like
there's
a
not
gerbil.
a lot of mystery in
flush
that, huh? Like
Nick,
in,
can I come over?
in that toilet.
I gotta flush these onions.
Some things are hard to flush. I tried to flush a bunch of watermelon once.
Why?
I had taken it to the beach and it had gotten warm.
Uh-huh.
And I live in New York. We don't have like trash compactors or what are the things where eats your food in the sink?
Bugs.
Garbage
A
disposal.
garbage disposal. We don't have that. We just
Jesus.
have bugs.
We just have bugs. Yeah.
that
that
eat your
thing that
food.
eats the
So I
food?
try to
Tucker,
put,
we live in literal closets in New
Where
York
do you
City.
throw your garbage
Please.
away?
well in a garbage, but
Like in a dumpster?
No,
Like
no.
you're busy building up a dumpster?
No, my building has like a long alleyway of like 45 garbage cans.
See, why do people ask us if we have electricity up here in
I
you
know
Fargo?
should. It's a
exactly.
very good
No,
point. It's
for
a very
sure.
good
If
point.
We're living like
anyone's-
savages.
You've got it
No,
all
if anyone's
right.
living in a,
Yes,
it's us.
Yeah.
it's true.
So I guess my question is, why did you bring the watermelon up to your apartment if you knew it was already
Oh,
bad?
this is a different apartment.
Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that
That
previous
makes less
apartment,
sense.
The
was there no garbage downstairs?
garbage was underneath my window.
Ew.
So I tried to avoid putting food in there as well, unless it was trash day, because otherwise the garbage fumes would come up.
Seep.
Everyone
How
follow
did-
your dreams, kids.
Move to New
how
York.
did it
babes.
go
Cool.
flushing a bunch of
It
watermelon?
didn't work, but it might have worked with my industrial. I ended up having to scoop it back
I didn't
out.
realize
it floats.
melon disposal in New York was so problematic.
It's a real
It's a real
challenge.
issue.
Yeah, it's a
Also,
problem.
watermelons can get warm. Like
I know,
we're
but
all
I wasn't
we
gonna
all know
eat
that.
it.
I wasn't
Like,
gonna
they
eat
grow
it.
outside.
I wasn't gonna. It was just. It had been at the beach. It had been in like 100 degrees for like 6 hours.
Were you trying to
Ryan
flush
acted-
the rind too? Because that's
no,
so
it was
hard.
cut
That's
up
like
into
a.
pieces.
Oh, so it was like cubed.
It was cubed watermelon, but
Watermelon.
the
Well, that
issue
doesn't
is
make- you
its
should've-
density just does not allow it to flush.
See, you should have painted this picture earlier because now we have to change what we were
Yeah,
all
yeah.
thinking.
I'm
thinking
sorry,
of like
you
a
guys.
I was
full-on
imagining Nikki like,
watermelon.
why did we
that's-
take this to the beach?
No,
and not
forget
like
that.
a-
I was
Now we gotta
was
flush it.
imagining cut watermelon
Thank
because
you. I'm
no
not
sane person would put a rind down the
insane.
toilet.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Right?
That's what. Well,
Well,
no
have
sane.
a
Yeah.
little more
Right.
faith.
Well, someone who calls the garbage disposal the thing in your sink that eats the food might flush the rind.
Just because I haven't had access to one for a decade.
I haven't either. Also, I'm very afraid of garbage disposals. I can't do it. I can't do it. Is that what it's called? Garbage
Do you know
disposal? Am I
a
saying
lot
that
of
right?
environmentalists and scientists do not like garbage disposals
Why?
because you're putting stuff down the drain that you shouldn't be able to actually put down the drain, and it introduces a bad bacteria.
It just goes in
into
the,
the sewer?
in the sewer.
Yeah, well, where do you think? It goes to the water treatment plant, and then they
Oh, it
treat
goes
the
into the
water.
sewage,
Yeah,
I mean, I've had so many garbage disposals break too.
because you tried overloading them.
No, I was in apartments where they had shitty garbage disposals.
Well, shouldn't you just be able to flush down the toilet anyway? Then, if it's going to the same place, what's the point?
That's true. I guess I can't.
Or like,
Well,
Like,
the garbage
here's the
disposal
thing.
like
chops
pulverizing it, too,
Okay.
making
Like,
it easy to go
yeah.
down.
Potato peels are not meant to go into like the water supply, right? Like
Coffee grounds.
it's meant to be composted outside. Like that's how it
Right.
breaks down. It doesn't break down when it's sitting in liquid, and
Ew.
it's just bad. And I only know this because Jill's dad is a scientist and he does a lot with wastewater, and he's like, don't fucking use that garbage disposal. And so then I'll run it while he's at my house, and he'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you not care about the earth? And I was like, it's just eggshells.
I had to answer that question to my sister-in-law when they found out that I like using plastic utensils because you just throw them away.
oh boy,
Yeah, that's
Your dishes
Don't-
go down
what
by
are you
like.
don't do that, Tucker.
doing.
And she asked me like, "What do you care about more, your time or the earth?" I thought my time, easily.
I have no patience for that.
Easily.
I cannot even laugh.
Patience
Have you
awesome.
not seen the picture of the seahorse holding onto a Q-tip?
That sounds really cute.
It's super cute, but the thing
So
is,
you don't use Q-tips?
Like a little
you're saying?
javelin?
no, just don't use
She-
the plasticky ones.
Well, I don't use the plastic Q-tips.
Plastic.
You're not flushing
plastic is
Q-tips, are
bad.
you?
It was a mistake we made.
Don't
It's
flush
all in the
Q-tips.
ocean now,
Yeah,
and it's killing everything.
and it saves me so much time.
Stop it.
How does it save you time?
Because now
You
I'm
don't
not
have to
having to
wash
wash
a dish?
anything. Yeah,
I don't
you
know
just throw it
about
away.
that.
And
It's a
paper
weird-
plates, I use a lot of paper
It's
plates.
a weird thing because
Less
for
of an issue with that.
for a generation that is so obsessed with things, according to older generations, we certainly like a lot of stuff that you throw away.
Yeah.
So we both love having things, and we also love disposing of things.
I have no data to back this up, but I am going to strongly assert, as though it were a fact, that I'm hurting the planet less than by putting dish soap into the water supply by washing stuff all the time.
That
I
is a really interesting
Don't
claim.
think that's true.
Because those are chemicals that are directly being put into the water supply.
When was the last time you picked up a bottle of Dawn dishwashing detergent? Because on the cover of it
There's
is
a little duck.
like covered
Yeah.
in oil that
Yeah.
we've been washing with
It
Dawn soap.
saves
yeah,
lives.
It's
I'm not
all right.
throwing oil away. I'm throwing plastic away. They're not getting covered in plastic utensils.
What do you think they use to make plastic?
Oil.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you're throwing oil away.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I'm throwing like a oil product away.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing a seal covered in those things.
Plastic is really bad. We should
There
all
is a
work
video-
on not using it.
Plastic is awesome.
Oh, wow. Point counterpoint.
Point counterpoint. I mean, unfortunately, I have nothing else to say other than plastic is bad.
There is a video online
Plastic is bad.
of a sea turtle.
I'm gonna flush this watermelon.
of a sea turtle who has snorted a cocktail straw like into his nose, and so
cute.
they pull him onto this boat and they are pulling it out, and he makes this screaming noise
JJ.
that'll haunt you in your dreams. And so when I'm out at the club and they're giving me a drink, I'm like, no straw.
That's really
There
nice.
are
of you.
clubs
No
here.
straw.
What? Do we have a club here?
I go to all sorts of clubs. I go to golf clubs. Sometimes I go to caveman's clubs.
Yeah.
You can buy a metal straw that you carry around with you, and you should do that.
I've got the food grade silicone one.
Ew.
Yeah, because when I put metal in my mouth, all I can taste is metal.
That's
Oh, no, it has
fair.
a little silicone nipple at the end of it.
Oh, it does?
No, I haven't seen the
Put
nipple
in your
ones.
mouth. That's what mine has.
I'm still really upset about the
That is
sea
some
turtle.
serious
It is
dedication to a straw
horrific.
lifestyle.
Yeah, that's
I
gross.
really mean it. Plastic is bad. Let's save the animals of the ocean. Everyone should watch Blue Planet
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2.
Both-
Blue Planet
both of
2
them.
is great.
The reason
Is-
it's so blue is because it has all that dish soap in there.
Is
Yeah,
Blue
it's so
Planet
clean.
2 the one where there's that like lizard on the beach and it's running from a million snakes?
Yes,
That's
and
so
you
good.
realize how easy our life is, how easy our life is because we're not born and then we don't immediately have to run from a million snakes.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of anxiety to watch that.
It
I've
made
only
me
seen it
very
once. Have you seen this,
grateful.
Colin?
No, I have not seen this, but I'm going to now. I love watching anything run away from a million snakes.
Probably remind you of what it's like to live in New York City.
Listen, the land of a million snakes.
Listen, honey.
The land of 8 million snakes, each one of them out to get
So
you.
what's a myth about New York City that as a Midwesterner you went there assuming was going to be true, and then you're like, oh, never mind. For example, when last time I was in New York City, I was like, listen, I'm going to stay up all night and I'm going to roam from place to place. But there are definitely huge chunks of that city that sleeps.
Oh, for sure.
For
And
sure.
so I found myself eventually in Brooklyn at a house party. And I was like, I thought the city never sleeps. And they're like, oh, you just got to go to the right parts of the city that
Oh.
don't sleep.
I mean, you did end up at a party.
Yeah, that sounds like
Yeah.
I would have just turned
It was
around and
not
gone
as
to
cool as you
sleep.
thought. Everyone was just getting really high and playing Mario Kart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest misconception
be
maybe
anywhere.
yes is that we
Things
all
are
sort of
cooler
live
than
the
that.
same life everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But biggest misconception, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I get a lot of people asking me if it's dangerous.
Yeah,
And
but I
it's-
don't think I thought it was when I
I
went.
never have thought it was.
It's not dangerous.
It's not dangerous, if only because at any given point you're surrounded
By
by
a
like
million
400 people.
Mm.
And so if there's one crazy person, which they will be doing something crazy.
There's 20 people observing this happen.
Right. And everyone's kind of just looking at each other like, you see this crazy person? Yeah, I see the crazy person. All right, we're cool.
Yeah.
right?
Did you see the crazy person kick me? I
Yes.
did. Okay, let's move on. So I always feel safer in New York than I did growing up here, just because of all the people around.
Agreed.
But other than that,
Other than that,
everything else you've heard is true.
true.
Most of my knowledge of New York City comes from The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Oh,
It's exactly
yes.
like that.
Okay, good.
Rats run every kitchen. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
It's really good.
That is true.
That is not, yeah.
The speech that Pete, the cafe owner, gives to Kermit when he's down on his luck, the people's is people's speech,
Oh,
really is summed up like, that's how my 30s are going right now. It's people's is people's.
that's
It's
beautiful.
tomatoes, it's big city, people's is people's. I love it. It's like, you are
Wow.
the smartest Greek I have ever met in my life.
You went from tomato to big city.
Yeah, if you need to listen to this speech.
I have not seen that. I bet since I was 5 or 6.
It's got a great
Missed that
reaction
movie.
from Kermit where he goes, yeah, and he doesn't know how to react to it. It's just brilliantly written, and I really kind of hope it was improvised, but you never know.
Can Muppets improvise?
Of course
Oh,
they
yeah.
can improvise.
The bulk of the Muppet stuff is improvised.
Oh, I suppose because it's the same sound that makes the mouth move is the person that speaks for them.
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
There are certain times when Piggy and Fozzie are together.
Because it's the same.
Frank Oz does both voices, and so Fozzie would be able to improvise while Piggy's would have
Just
to
gotta
keep
stick
it
to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Was there ever a skit where like Fozzie, Miss Piggy, and Sam the Eagle were all just hanging out?
I'm sure there was.
Why are they all the same?
They were all Frank Oz.
Oh, man. That's mind-blowing.
Yeah, right.
I see a Fozzie right here where I'm looking. He's
Yeah,
on the
up
shelf.
on our shelf of stuff that is about childhood nostalgia. There's a stoop kid from Hey Arnold, which is another series set in New York City. Didn't watch that. I was just slightly too old for Hey Arnold.
We didn't have cable growing up.
I think I watched Hey Arnold, but I don't really remember
He had a
it.
head shaped like a
Hey,
football.
But I do remember.
Remember when you put mascara in the microwave?
I do.
What? Speaking of growing up?
Yeah.
This is
I
real?
do, JJ. Yes, I actually forgot about that. Did you mention it to me last time I saw
No.
you? It like popped into my memory the other day, and I told my boyfriend. I was like,
Yeah?
I did. I left a
Why did you
mascara in the car, and it froze, and so I put it in the microwave, and it exploded
Exploded.
and
Oh my
destroyed the microwave.
Did you still use it?
Yeah, that looked great. No, because there's metal inside a mascara wand.
Oh, duh.
FYI to all those 16-year-olds out there who think they know what's what. You can't microwave your own mascara.
It must have smelled.
It smelled terrible.
What actually is mascara, if I may ask? What is it? Made of oil?
Waterproof mascara, I think, don't
See, and
quote me
here
on
I'm
this,
getting
is
all shit on because I use plastic
guano.
utensils.
No,
I
is
put
it really?
oil in my
Yeah.
face every day and then washing it off into the water supply.
They use a lot
Listen.
of guano. Guano is in more products than you
yeah, I
want to
just
give it
remember
credit for.
Bat
buying
poop?
a waterproof mascara. Maybe they've changed it since then, but I bought a waterproof mascara at Aveda, and I found out it was bat guano when I was a teenager.
The only reason our generation even knows what that is because of
Because
Ace
of Ace
Ventura 2.
When Nature Calls.
I
never
didn't see
saw
it.
Is that where he comes out of
Aren't
the
we
thing's
this-
butt?
Are we the
Yes,
same?
that's
I
the
don't
one.
like,
Are we the
I
same
don't like
generation?
that part. I don't like that part.
That just goes to show you that like
Gross.
how a couple of years makes such a big
It does.
difference.
It does.
I
It's
guess.
true.
So let's get to the real reason why you're actually even in Fargo right now. Right?
Okay.
All right.
You guys are making a movie.
We are making
are.
a movie.
That's exciting, and it's called Glob Lessons.
Very
You
good.
did it.
It is.
I
You
know,
did it right.
yeah.
Not Globe Lessons.
Not Globe.
Glob.
No, it's not a misspelling.
Nope.
Nope.
It's not
It
supposed
doesn't-
It's
to.
not an acronym.
Not an acronym.
It's just a title that you don't know what it means.
Until
So-
now.
Until now.
Why make a movie?
Ooh.
Good question, JJ. Why
Yeah.
make a movie? Well, Colin and I have been writing and making little things together since we were teenagers. And I guess this story, I mean, Colin can explain to you like where the impetus came from for creating the film, but I don't know. It was just one of those things where I think we started to really, I don't think so much consciously, although looking back on it consciously. Coming from North Dakota and then moving somewhere else, I don't think I really realized I came from like a real culture until I left. And I think trying to understand like if you're going to make art, like what are you going to do? And feeling like we have a unique perspective being from this part of the country, like I think there should be more stories and things coming out of the middle of the country. So I think that's part of it. Also, I love movies. And
Ditto.
Movies are pretty cool.
movies are
Yeah.
pretty cool.
They're the best.
I love movies.
Yeah.
So all those things
All those things molded
Yeah.
into one.
into one thing.
And then I guess for this movie in particular, which is called Glob Lessons, and the plot of it is it's about two aimless 30-somethings who find themselves doing a traveling children's theater tour across North Dakota and the Midwest. And the plot of that comes from something I did where I took a job doing the same thing, doing children's theater out of a minivan. I was up and down the East Coast, not in the Midwest. But it's just, I did that for a year, and it was just a really crazy, weird adventure. And I was kind of in a weird part of my life. I just left Fargo to do this tour, actually. And that was like my first sort of foray into the real world, as it were. And so many strange things happened during that year. And so many times I would talk to Nikki, can I call you Nikki
Whatever,
now?
call me whatever.
Nikki. And just tell her these stories, these strange things that had happened while I was on the road. And eventually we thought that sounds like a movie. That sounds like it should be a movie. And that's where we are now. Wow.
So I've noticed, I've seen some of your camera test stuff and some of your visuals. You're going for the starkness of
yeah.
North
Oh,
Dakota,
yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
bleak tundra, not the, oh, isn't it beautiful and harvesty and let's shoot a Jimmy John's commercial here.
Yep.
No. You're going for that that's what people think of when they think of North Dakota
Totally.
look.
And it takes place in the winter, which was something really important to us because
Everyone's tried to talk us out of. They've tried to get us to shoot it somewhere else and somewhere not as cold. But
Maybe you guys
need
can find
both.
some place with mountains in the
Yeah,
background.
exactly.
We'll call that North Dakota.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly,
That's not what we're
exactly,
looking
and that's
for.
exactly the thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason too why it's a film is I think North Dakota is so incredibly cinematic. Not a lot of stuff gets made here for a variety of different reasons. But it's stark, but it's stunning, and it does a lot of telling of the story itself. So we're really excited about that part. But yeah, it's going to be.
So without giving away too much,
Mm-hmm.
obviously without any spoilers or anything, is this a movie that has elements of like a play within the movie, or is it more behind the scenes, mixture of the two?
It's more behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
it's both.
Yeah.
The plays that they start out doing aren't very good, and they're aware that they're really boring children
Yeah.
to death. And so part of the character's arc in coming into themselves is sort of going rogue and redesigning and rewriting the shows themselves.
Oh,
So
that's
you
cool.
see little snippets of stuff, but it has way more to do, I think, with
Their relationship.
how the audience is reacting to what their work is, and also, how it looks.
Right.
So you do see the show, but
Okay, that's really cool. I like the idea of watching a show within a show, and especially if the show within a show is morphing throughout.
Right. And it reflects their relationship as it blossoms and grows.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone in this room has a theater background, so we all know that. Like when people go see a Theater B show, sometimes I'll tell them if you want to see it, maybe see it right at the beginning and then watch it again right at the end of the run.
Yeah, that's really
You'll see
interesting.
two different shows because it's going to change.
What do you need right now? If someone's listening to this immediately, what do you need to make this happen? Because I'm a huge cheerleader for people filming stuff in North Dakota.
Yes, sir.
We're one of only like 6 states that don't have a filming credit nowadays.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
Right.
And all we're doing is keeping industry away rather than creating it here. So
Right on.
what do you guys need to be able to make your production happen here and bring us all those sweet dollars from hotel stays, gas station visits, patronizing our restaurants?
we need money
We
in a
need those
minivan.
sweet dollars ourselves, and we need a shitty minivan. Not that bad.
No, it can't be that bad that we break down in the middle of North Dakota in the
Yeah,
winter.
it
But
needs to be
those
a-
are the things that we
So you
currently
need someone's
don't
like
have.
1997
Absolutely.
Toyota
Yes, that's
van.
exactly
that
Oh my God,
what
if
we
you're a
want.
mom, if somehow
you
you're
were
a mom listening
in
to this-
98
And you have a minivan, and it
They-
runs.
and you know we're not going to die outside of Bismarck, North Dakota on 94,
Please send it our
please
way.
send it our way. We'd love to take it off your
It's
hands.
literally the third character in the movie, actually. It's that important to
And
us.
this old gal shouldn't look showroom ready, right?
It would be preferable
Yeah.
not to.
Little bit of rust.
My mother turned to me the other day and was like, "Have you thought about using our car?" And she's driving what, like a Ford Focus or something? I
Yeah,
don't know. And I
it's
was
nice.
like, I appreciate the gesture, but it's not the right
Look.
story.
Yeah.
And is this a van that's provided to you by the company you
Yes.
work for?
Yes.
You should borrow, Gwen Stark has
Yes.
her license plate says theater. You should borrow that. And like, if these guys happen to drive around a van that says theater as the license plate,
Is it
wouldn't that be wild?
does she have a van?
No, she's got an old car, but you
we
can just
just
swap
steal
the
her
license
license
plates.
plate?
Who cares?
right off.
No
yeah.
problem.
Done that before.
Who cares?
fine.
One thing that bothers me when I watch movies about North Dakota is they never get our license plate right.
Oh, God.
Really?
So here's the thing. There's a movie that came out like, a year and a half ago called Monster Trucks. And it was about a monster that could get inside of a truck and then like it could spin the wheels.
Of course, you've seen this movie.
Yeah. Oh, I went to it on day one with scotch. But here's the thing.
This is a real movie?
4 minutes into this movie, I go, holy shit, this is set in North Dakota.
No.
And you could tell it was made years ago because they have the old style license
yeah.
plate.
Oh.
But the
Little
idea
buffalo.
is that it's Monster Trucks was co-written by one of the guys from the state too, Thomas Lennon.
Really?
So yeah, and he's in
Really?
it. He's
Really?
one of the bad guys.
Wow.
But they're fracking and they open up a pocket and they of course are like, oh, we're gonna get all this oil. But the monster comes up from that area. It's a prehistoric
God.
monster that's
It
been there
does.
for
It's an environmental
Yeah.
message,
years.
too.
It really is.
Back to the oil. Tucker, are you listening?
This
Why you should
movie,
not use mascara.
this movie is
bad for
garbage.
the-
I don't recommend seeing it, but it is fun to
Seen the
see.
video of that sea turtle with the mascara on his eyes. And it's got like a smoky hue.
He looks
and
so good.
Looks so good.
So you need some money. So how are people going to give you money? We ask for money every week, twice a week on JJ Meets World.
How much do you get?
We're doing pretty good.
Okay, good.
We're in the 30s, $30.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do we owe you for doing this, or do you pay us afterwards?
We're going to pay you guys, but you're going to be surprised. It's in Thunder Road gift cards. So I hope you guys really like mini golf.
We
I actually love mini golf.
Also, we whited out the year so that
Good. Let's sneak
You're
in.
going to have to do
you
some
say
talk.
whatever you want.
Perfect.
You guys, are you fundraising?
We are indeed.
we're doing a Kickstarter.
We're
which,
launching it Friday.
But I know this is in perpetuity and evergreen, as you say. So who knows if it's still on?
What's
if you're
the
listening.
goal number
We're trying to raise $20,000 via Kickstarter.
20K.
for a movie budget? That's not even bare bones. That's like bone marrow.
No, we're
that's
bone.
like-
Thank you for understanding
Yeah,
that.
thank
I
you.
don't
Okay.
know how to write on the Kickstarter. Like it's dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard work, but we really, our budget's $43,000, which is
Right.
still very low. But with Kickstarter, you don't raise it, you don't get it. So you want
So we're
to.
keeping it mid-range.
If we can get that, then we know we can
Get more.
do production.
Right.
Yeah, post-production, that's a whole other
Yeah.
Sure.
checkbook.
Sure.
Yeah.
But 20 will get us through the shoot.
What are you giving people who are donating? Like, are you offering walk-on rolls
Great
for like
question,
$1,000?
Yeah.
That type of stuff?
Yeah.
I love how
absolutely.
that's where we've come in movie making. It's like, buy your way onto the set, okay? Do
Exactly.
you love your daughter?
Exactly. Do you want
exactly.
your kid to be in a
Oh,
movie?
I would have pressured my parents so
Oh,
hard.
man, me too.
So you're obviously going to have to film in some schools, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so are you offering a deal where if the community as a whole donates X amount of dollars, you'll film at their elementary school?
Oh, I didn't even think
No,
about
we're not
that.
doing that.
Okay, you can have that one for free, but the rest of them are going to
Thank
cost
you.
you.
I'll write that one down.
So here's
That's
the
a good
thing:
one.
all of these small towns, they've got money, they've got marketing budgets, and all they can seem to do is come up with the same slogan: "A cup of coffee away." Hillsboro, a cup of coffee away from Fargo. Jamestown, a cup of coffee away from Bismarck. So you guys just need to go and say, "Don't ruin your marketing on a billboard about coffee. Why don't you let us have money, and then we'll film something here." Do you remember that somebody did that like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They said if your town gives us $1,000, we'll shoot a scene from the movie in your town.
it was a couple years ago. If we're thinking of the same guy, and he had come up with this sort of plan to basically break up the script of the movie into all these chunks, and then like if you paid a certain amount, your business would be featured in the movie somehow, and if you paid a certain amount, you'd get like a walk-on cameo. I never saw the finished product, but that was his plan. I don't know how it worked out for him.
I want to say like it's The Last Boys of Summer
Yep,
was
I
the
think
title
I
of
think
it.
you're right.
Wow,
but-
what a
Wow.
plan.
Yeah.
That's a really
Well,
smart
we're
plan.
walking around just hoping they're going to let us film in
Yeah,
these places.
yeah, we
We're just like, oh God, please.
Yeah, we didn't think to
Because
introduce grease palms into this.
if you're in a small town, we're probably coming your way because we've been doing so much location
yeah.
scouting.
Well, he was definitely trying to do a new tactic at it. I don't necessarily think it worked out for him. You guys, I bet, will be really surprised at how giving a lot of people will be.
We've already
People
been
have already
noticing
been
that. Yeah,
incredibly just open and generous and
Absolutely.
supportive, and it makes us so grateful.
totally.
So sickeningly grateful.
Have you found any amazing locations?
Oh my
like
God,
this
JJ,
is the
you would have-
motel we are
Dude,
filming
you
at for
are
sure.
going
Absolutely.
to freak out.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
I wish I
Is
could
it-
remember.
Sorry, we did like
Tower
a
City?
was it Tops Motel?
Tops Motel.
That
There was a few
hasn't-
that were just like incredible
Tops Motel, I think it was, that has not changed,
since the 50s.
and it's gorgeous, and it's been impeccably maintained. I
Yeah.
hope I'm remembering the right hotel name. If I'm not, I feel terrible, but impeccably maintained. I mean, just it's been.
Yeah, you
It's
open
like
the door and it's like
being in a
it's like a
time
time
capsule.
capsule. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's
It has like
incredible.
burgundy wood paneled walls
Yeah.
and like a TV from the 1960s
And,
and,
like,
green
shaggy
shag
carpet.
carpet. It's so clean and it's amazing looking.
Are we talking like avocado bathrooms?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
coming back.
oh it is
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
back.
I mean,
It's because it's beautiful.
Okay,
it's
I was
beautiful.
joking. It's coming
It is,
back.
yeah.
No, it is coming
yeah.
back.
That avocado
The
green
vintage
for
style.
appliances is becoming
Hello.
like
Really?
a big thing again. Yeah. People like retro. People are even buying the retro
Yep.
fridges that have the big metal like.
That's so cute.
Ooh, I love
On the top
I
front
would
of it.
love that.
See?
See?
And you guys are the ones with the money nowadays.
Wow.
They're not going after your parents. They're like, We want to get people we can sell like 4 of these to in their
don't
life.
have
I don't
any money.
think. Do you think they're marketing to millennials? I thought the whole narrative about millennials is that we have no money and we're destroying everything because we don't buy anything.
I don't think that's
I have
true.
never bought an appliance in my life.
Me either.
Really?
Other than a toaster,
No.
I've bought one toaster.
Was it vintage? Was it
No.
avocado?
It's not. I bought a toaster. I have a small microwave.
What brand was the toaster?
I don't know. I got
Was
it.
it Oster?
No, I don't think so. I got it at Target when I went to college.
What? Wait, what? Is this a joke?
No,
No,
that's the one brand of toaster I know. Oster.
There's one that's like
Ostyer.
sunshine.
Oh, I never look at my toaster.
Sunbeam.
Sunbeam.
That's the one.
They make great little coffee pots.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't drink coffee, but I like looking at coffee pots.
You don't drink
I think
coffee?
JJ's
I
like the
don't.
one millennial that basically ruins the idea that millennials are ruining everything.
I'm
he's
buying
up
stuff
on it.
for
He's
everybody.
consuming.
Although, like, I was born in the wrong era because I love cribbage and going to bed at 9:30. Those are my jams.
What would your era have been then?
Cool, like the 1950s.
Wouldn't
Really?
you have wanted a time before electricity so you could go to bed at 1930?
1930.
No, because here's the thing.
Oh, I wish I could go to bed if it weren't for all this electricity.
Well, there's a fine line, right? Because at one point, if it's before electricity,
Electricity's
you're
keeping
going
up.
outside to poop and pee. And then you've got to light your lantern to go out there. Do you know, like, people used to die during blizzards going
Trying
out to
to
the
go pee.
outhouse?
Yeah, of
All
course.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't find you until the spring. Be like, oh, there's Irv.
I assumed everyone's dad told them about that
Oh, yeah.
as children.
I did not hear about that until
Yeah,
recently.
don't go out in that storm.
To pee.
People, don't go out in that storm to pee, Nicole.
Remember
You're getting
Irv?
warnings.
He
Yeah,
died.
well, but your house was kind of in the country.
We were in the country, so there was a lot of like life or death sort of emotions around the snow. But I was always really into the idea that you would need a rope from the house to the barn.
Oh, that's very
so
Little House
when
on the
you were
Prairie.
in the
I like
blizzard, you
that.
could hang on to it, so you
Like
wouldn't.
a Hansel
can
and
water the
Gretel,
horses.
like,
Yeah.
find your way back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's smart.
that is smart.
And
Or
then I
just
thought,
don't go outside like I do.
Why
Yeah,
don't
just
why don't
hold
you
it.
just leave that up all the time? Like, why not just leave
The
this
rope?
rope to the privy up all the time? Why are you only putting it up when there's a big blizzard?
I mean, here's the thing. All our ancestors apparently left their ropes up. That's why we're here.
That's a really good point.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we
Survival
can't
of the
really
fittest,
really
guys.
answer for the non-rope dwellers among us.
the
They didn't
non-ropians.
make it.
Any time traveling destination for me requires air conditioning.
Oh,
Otherwise,
That
I'm not
doesn't
going.
give you anything. That gives you a period of 25
That only
years,
gives you
Tucker.
a few of countries
You could go
right
back
now.
to being like 7 years old.
Yeah, that's fine.
What's the point?
You have a 30-year span in 5 countries
Yeah.
you can visit.
Yeah,
God,
that's cool.
Where's your imagination?
I'm going back in time to 2006 in Winnipeg. No, surely not. No.
When was air conditioning invented? I bet I got a clear shot to the mid 60s at least.
I think it depends on the
No.
type of air conditioning
I
because
mean,
it
can
used to
you-
be like
Can you handle? That's what we use. Window air conditioners. Can you
Oh, yeah,
handle
yeah.
a window air conditioner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
as long
Alright.
as the
You're
air
not-
is conditioned.
You're not talking central air.
You don't
No.
need
You're not
central
talking
air.
like a bucket of ice with a fan in front of it.
As long as they have a way to keep me comfortable with air conditioning, I'm good.
Wow.
God,
Yeah.
I'm sad for you.
I mean, that's the
I'm
thing.
not.
Lack of imagination.
That's the thing about New York. I would say I
Is
was
that
in.
it's like being in the 1920s.
it's you're always uncomfortable.
Yes.
I was
Always,
I was with my
physically.
boyfriend in Minneapolis last week, and we were just like, oh, we're just driving around. We would like go to see somebody, and then we'd drive somewhere else, and we'd go to the Mall of America, and we'd drive somewhere else. And he was like, I think the biggest difference is that in New York, we're always uncomfortable. Everything we do is uncomfortable.
Yeah, everything takes longer than
Everything
you think
takes
it's going
forever.
to.
You're always hot or cold
You're always
and stuck in
crowded with
someone's
other
armpit,
people. Yeah.
and everything's uncomfortable.
And really traveling from one place to the other, like there's some planning involved. There's like,
yeah.
well,
Oh, yeah.
this is going to take half the day to do this and
Sure.
that.
Yep. Exactly.
I don't like that.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about a place like New York is there's a lot of away toilet situations that you
Oh.
encounter.
Dangerous. Yeah.
And in Chicago, I plotted it out because I knew the best toilets between Second City and my house.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and at the time of day too, I'd always know where the good Dunkin' Donuts is
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and how much I would have to wait until I got there.
Are you a shy pooper, JJ?
I'm not a shy pooper, but I want to be comfortable. Like Tucker wants air conditioning. I want an area where I'm going to feel all right sitting directly on the seat.
Okay, yeah, that's nowhere, not even in your own
and
home.
where like I'm not going to look into the garbage and be like, oh my God, that is a lot of blood
Yeah.
in this garbage
It's just
can.
watermelon.
Damn it, someone tried to flush a whole watermelon down here again.
I would say maybe that's why they say it takes 10 years to become a real New Yorker, is it takes 10 years to plot out all the toilets.
The good toilets?
In Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also takes 30 years off your life. So, like, 10 years New Yorker, you've got 20 years left to live, and you're just
Have
done.
a good time pooping at that Marriott.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There are a few big cities I'd really love to live in at some point in my life. New York isn't one, but I'd like to go. I've been there a few times.
Come visit.
When you visit the city,
Tucker.
it's awesome. I love Manhattan.
Listen, as much
I
as
love
we shit on New York, I love
We
New
also
York.
love
Yeah,
it.
it's fun. It's a
every
fun
single
town.
It's really
day,
fun.
every single day, something happens in New York that I go, God damn it, I hate it. I can't do this anymore. And then an hour later, something happens, and I go, oh, okay, this is why. This is why I live in New York. So that's what it is. It's a balance.
But going to the bathroom in a clean bathroom is not one of the reasons.
Yeah, no.
Where
no.
else do you want to go?
Well, I've been to a bunch of cities because I was working in poker TV for about
yeah.
6-7 years, so I was traveling a lot. And I guess some of the cities I really like Boston.
Oh, I love Boston.
It's a good one.
Amazing town.
Beautiful.
Good one.
I love
Boston's
the
beautiful.
accents.
Love the accent.
Oh, yeah.
It's so pretty.
I wouldn't mind living near Vegas or in
Really?
the suburbs of
Really?
Vegas.
I've never
Really?
been to Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. I mean,
Really?
I'm not a big time gambler, but man, going to Vegas, especially with some friends during the week, it's like a party. Like the whole city is one big party, and you can
sounds
walk from
That's
one
my
end of the strip to the other,
nightmare.
in buildings and out of buildings, without even touching a door handle, and you just get to bring your drink with you wherever you go, and everyone's really cool. Like it's everyone's just having a good time, and you'll see like you'll go to a bar in one casino, and all the people at that bar would never hang out in real life.
Sure.
Except they all went to this casino and they're hanging out at the bar. And booze is really cheap. Really, really
I guess
cheap.
I want to live in a city that's like one big library where no food or drinks allowed. You're not allowed to talk.
so
Don't
so
make
you're,
eye
you're
contact.
somewhere in
Talking
North
about-
Korea, basically.
Yeah.
Pyongyang.
Well-
it sounds like where you want to go.
It sounds more to me like Spokane if you've ever been there.
That's probably my idea.
I like Denver.
Denver's
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 a fun
nice.
town. I really want to go to Austin, Texas. I haven't been
I've
there.
never
yet.
I never have
been.
been either. I would
I
love
really
to
wanna go.
Austin is primo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good time in Austin.
Yeah.
That sounds
Although
great.
outside of Austin, there are packs of wild boars that are
Really?
roaming. And
Literally?
it's literally, and we're talking like hundreds that
Oh my
run in
That's not like a
packs.
code name.
It's not a
Packs
code
of
name.
wild
No, it's not like,
boars.
like a run of the boars. I got tusked last night.
Oh, I want
But they show up and they'll turn over fences and
Oh my God.
they'll eat everything, and they just go by and just ruin you, and there's no stopping it.
What?
Man versus nature. There's no
That's
stopping
great.
it.
Good for them.
So watch
Yeah.
out. Like
Good
you gotta
for them.
watch out for the
Exactly.
pigs.
For them.
Show them who's boss, boys.
Yeah, those boars were there first. They're going to be here after we're gone.
Did you guys
Respect.
ever remember reading Lenigan versus the Ants? It was a short
Nope.
story that was required reading in our high school.
We didn't do any of our required reading
No, I
in high
didn't read
school.
a single thing.
We
Sorry.
did get A's in AP English, but
Through
we
the
did
cracks.
not.
Through the cracks.
No, I could write a good essay. I just never read The Scarlet Letter.
I
Sorry.
never read The Great Gatsby.
If there's enough
Never read
class,
Great Gatsby?
if there's enough class discussion, you don't need to read the book.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You get the answers that way.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I'd like to live in DC for a year.
Oh, really?
DC's great.
DC is such a cool town.
It's beautiful.
I don't know. I've only ever been to like the mall.
It's nuts, but it's really cool. I spent a few days in DC, and I even got to get like inside of like the congressional building, and I got a couple of tours of a few areas. And I was like, this is like a scene from a movie. Like if they were like, we need to cast a scene to look like it's in Washington, D.C. Everyone's in suits with Bluetooth. And
Well, you were in Washington, D.C.
but I mean, like
so-
it
It
seemed
looked just like the movies.
It
looked.
looked
Just like the
like you were in
Well, so we were
Washington,
just talking
D.C.
about the misconceptions we have about New York, right? Most of us, that's because of what we see in movies and TV.
Right on.
It's almost always someone who's living in New York of means, who has an
Exactly.
apartment you'd never be able to afford,
Right.
or something like that. So we have, and I'm used to the idea of misconceptions because I've gone to almost every state in the union, and whatever your misconceptions, like you'll find out what you were wrong about while you were there. But when
Right.
you went to DC, it's like, oh no, it's like every single scene in a movie.
Sure, I get
Well, it's
that.
because politics is theater, and they've already sort of art directed it for you,
Right.
so you can just lift it off the
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, DC is a lot like Vegas in that there are very few people who were born and raised there. Almost no one is born and raised there. Like, it's very rare to be in Vegas and find someone who's like, yep, I was born here, lived here my whole life. It's almost always people that have come from somewhere else.
They're just waiting for one last good hand. And I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna find Jenny. Oh, damn it. I was thinking about something that was going to be funny, but there it's
JJ.
gone. It's gone.
bye.
They're gone.
Wasn't that funny? I bet.
It was it was so funny. It was one of those great premises where
I think if it was so funny,
you'd be
you would've
talking about it
remembered
and you'd be like, oh yeah, it was great. It's
Oh,
great.
God.
So let's also dive into. So tell me about like what you guys have been doing with your careers. Like this is kind of fun, huh?
Oh,
I mean, you toured all over with a children's theater piece. That's pretty bitchin'.
I did that for a year, and I still do that in New York City right now, doing children's theater, touring around the city, which is great. It's super fun. Yeah.
Some people think that, like, that's the last thing I want to do, right? Is like do this children's theater show. But you're introducing something to kids, and they'll remember. How many kids did Missoula Children's Theater, and they talk about the best summer of their life?
Exactly.
That's like 3 days with Missoula is really all you get. It's not a ton
It was
of
the
time.
highlight of my year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
And you still, you still remember seeing Pizzazz. I still remember seeing plays as a
too.
kid.
I remember seeing Trowwood's.
Peter Pan and Trowwood changed my life.
Mine too. The whole thing. Just
For me,
my
it was Joseph.
Game changer.
That first production
I
of
didn't see
Joseph.
Joseph.
I remember that. Oh, when he flew up in the air and all the ribbons. Oh my God. Yeah. Love it. So yeah, that's my jam right now in NYC, which is great.
Who are the stinkiest kids?
The stinkiest kids?
Yeah. Who are the stinkiest kids? Are they the kids
Let's bully a few of the kids that you've
Let's
been
talk
playing
about
with
this
right now.
Are they the precocious kids who are rolling around in garbage?
No,
Are they the kids who are afraid to poop?
This
They've
is a
got
kid.
shy
This is a
toilet.
kid or do you think I'm
Koala
doing?
in gym
Yeah.
class.
Yeah. I don't know. I have not experienced that many stinky kids.
So the shy ones then.
The shy ones? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, in New York City, the gamut of children you experience is so wide. I mean, you have everything from, very, very high-end schools to like the lowest of the low. But it's really great to go to all of them. But there are some stinky kids, I guess, in there.
Yeah. See,
somewhere.
I knew there were
Let
going to
me
be some
think
stinky
about it.
kids.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
I was not a stinky kid, so I don't recognize
Stinky kids, it doesn't matter how affluent your family is. You can still stink.
That's true.
Like, you
It's-
find ways to
Listen,
stink.
it's not their fault.
It is
No,
not their
it's
fault
not.
that
What
they're
age
stinky.
ranges were you performing for it?
Everything from
Like preteen kids?
no, lower than that.
Because if
Elementary
they have
school.
puberty, they're going to smell.
Oh yeah, anything puberty wise, you
Yeah.
just turn into like a monster person.
Before you figured out antiperspirant.
right, exactly.
But and your feet are really sweaty for some reason, so your socks are stiff.
Ew.
Ew. No, that didn't happen.
You guys
to me.
didn't- that didn't happen to you?
happen to me either. I
Oh,
don't think.
It was awful.
Gross.
Ugh.
Gross. What happened?
This is just so funny. I'm just picturing JJ's socks as he was growing up.
They were awful.
His stiff. Yeah,
I
sure.
bet.
It was your foot sweat.
It was
JJ.
your sweat, your
That's
My
why your
delicious foot
socks
sweat.
were so stiff.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing was, so I wore sweatpants until my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, so right before we met you.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I was a sweatpants exclusive kid.
Why?
Comfort.
I just didn't know any better. I didn't own a pair of jeans. And
You didn't own a single pair of jeans?
No.
What did you wear when you went to the Olive Garden with your family?
We didn't eat at the Olive Garden.
Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't eat at the Olive Garden until
It's too classy.
Christmas Eve 2003 with Randy Olson, previous
it.
podcast guest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hi, Randy.
Yeah, and we went to Toys R Us, and they had a sale on giant teddy bears. I picked her up a giant teddy bear, and then we went to the Olive Garden.
I feel like I went to Toys R Us with you and went to the Olive Garden once.
Probably that
God.
became a tradition. After like I was like,
I bought a
let's
Barbie.
do this. This will be the greatest thing ever. Toys R Us and
God.
Olive Garden.
Did you guys go on a date? Is that what it
I think
was?
the
someone else.
Olive
No, I
Garden?
think someone else was there.
No.
Did you?
Maybe. Did I go?
No, you weren't there.
No.
It was another girl. We both
Yeah.
bought Barbies.
Yeah,
Maybe
that makes
Kate
sense.
Sweeney.
Yeah, there were a lot of fun times where it was just random shit.
Lots
Yeah.
of random shit.
Do you ever think back and be like, God, I wasted so much time?
No.
No.
Oh, I
Not
do.
at all.
I think to myself, boy, oh boy, I could have accomplished a lot more, but I just spent a lot of time doing nothing.
As a teenager?
As a teenager?
Yeah.
That's
what
when
you're
you're
supposed
supposed
to
to
do.
do. That's where the best stuff comes from. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful
Not
that
my
I had.
kids. My kids are going to be super structured. They're going to get a lot accomplished. They're going to figure out how to grout.
Oh.
Like between tiles?
I mean,
No.
that'll be helpful to know.
Mm-hmm.
No, I loved my teenage years.
Unstructured
Once my
teenage
parents
time
were
is
like
the
off
best.
my butt.
Yeah.
And I just kind of got to do whatever.
Yeah. And
That's
you know what we did?
That
We
was the
made
fertile
movies
ground.
and
Yeah,
we
we
wrote
made
plays.
movies, we wrote plays. We trespassed.
Yeah.
We just sort of
Did weird
created
things.
stuff.
Yeah. That's what we did with our spare time.
Ouija board stuff, like cool stuff.
Ouija
board. No, Ouija boards were middle school.
No.
I did do seances.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
But I love all that unstructured time.
Yeah,
I feel
me
more
too.
about my adult life. I worry more about wasting time than I
Agreed.
feel like I got a lot done as a teenager.
Oh, well, maybe you should flop things around.
Yeah.
I should flop it around.
Yeah, and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna concentrate today on just getting a ride somewhere. That's all I'm gonna concentrate on today.
That's
I
true.
just-
I guess there
I
was
just
just
need to
less,
find a
there were
ride.
just
To the
less
mall.
things to accomplish,
Yeah.
maybe.
The one thing I would do if I could talk to my teenage self today, I don't think I would tell him don't waste time, because I was not wasting time. I was really productive. But I would tell him stop taking everything so seriously.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chill
That's a good
out.
one.
You don't know what worry is yet.
Yeah. That's a good
You're
one.
worried that you've got this girlfriend or something, or the class didn't go that well that day. Those are not worries. Like, just enjoy your life. I wish I told myself that then. I had a stick up my ass most of high school.
I didn't really meet you until after, so I'm glad I got to meet
You were a little scary in
post
high school.
Tucker.
Yeah, I was very
You were intense.
I was intense.
Yeah.
Super intense.
Would you say you were brooding?
No, but I found out I hated school about the middle of my junior year, and that I just wanted to do art stuff. And I was at that point that I was like, you couldn't convince me to try at a math class. You just couldn't. I was like, ugh, I can't stand doing any of this. And everything was so life or death. And I took it all that seriously. And yeah.
And look at you now.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, we've arrived.
Yeah, you have.
Yes.
What are people not watching that they should? You guys love movies.
Not watching.
What are things that people are not watching that they should be? You can give a pitch for any guilty pleasure.
Oh, God. I
Oh.
don't believe in guilty pleasures, first of all.
all pleasure is pleasure, bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
Do you know what? This isn't a guilty pleasure. This movie just fucks. It's this film called Ghost Story where Casey Affleck plays a ghost and he's just under a sheet the whole time with Rooney Mara. And it came out, I think, in 2016. I saw it at the end of 2017, and it's incredible. It's just Casey Affleck under a sheet. It's amazing. Everyone should watch it. It's called Ghost Story.
Ghost Story.
I didn't watch it. Is that where she eats the cake for like 25
Yeah.
minutes? I know that part. I didn't watch that part either. Not any of it. Just I
But
know
I heard
about
about
it.
it.
I
He just
read
likes to
that.
think about it.
Spoiler alert, she eats a cake for 25
It's
minutes.
pie, I think.
A pie. I don't know. I don't have an answer to this. I keep getting these questions, JJ, where you're putting
I
me
know
on the spot, and
you
I'm
owe me
feeling
a
like-
bunch of
I know,
answers
I've
at
been
this
thinking about
point.
them in my
Neither of us
head.
are great at like lists. That's why I used
No,
to
I'm
keep
not.
lists.
Yeah.
You got a
Yes.
list
We're
of
not,
dogs'
like-
names.
I
and
know,
You're not
I know.
good at doing stuff like this.
No, I
You
don't have a
kidding
list
me?
of things to watch. I don't watch that many things.
How about this? Are there any movies that kind of serve as inspiration for you guys going into Glob?
Ooh,
I
that's
hate
an
that
excellent-
question more.
Yeah, that's a hard one too.
The other day, what did I try to say our film was? I think I tried to say it was a cross between Mr. Holland's Opus and,
Whoa.
and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, this is all news to me. That's really good.
Huh.
I don't think of either of
So
those
does
as
Colin
bleak.
go deaf?
Yeah, wait.
Colin
yeah.
is deaf.
I do wear a lot of sweaters.
No, it's. I mean, a lot of my inspiration just comes from other people who are working on a similar scale. So their films might be very different, but they're working in a similar scale. So it has more to do with what you're capable of accomplishing on that level. Our cinematographer, Dean Peterson, directed me in a feature called What Children Do that will be on, I think, iTunes and Amazon pretty soon.
Cool.
But like that was a real small crew, and it's a great film. I think it's really great.
It is.
And there's films by like Alex Karpovsky that there's a film called Red Flag that we really love. That's just like a road trip, and it was made for like $7,000. It's very different than our film. It's just people on the road. But I think it's been a lot of watching people working on an ultra low scale.
Yeah.
And the sort of just do it attitude. Even like
Yeah.
early Duplass Brothers stuff.
Yeah, like we're making a picture.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
DIY all the way around. Yeah.
pull up your bootstraps.
Pull up your bootstraps, kids.
Exactly. Make your movie.
Sometimes I think, and of course, this is going to be a loaded question for you guys because you're doing it right now, but when you're limited by means, you're forced to be more creative in how you do things.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes I think some of these, big name directors who got their start from making smaller budget films have lost their edge, and now they've got all the money you could imagine in the world, but there's so many strings that come with that.
Absolutely. No,
So-
it's limitations are like where creativity is born.
Yeah. And what's not, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say what's nice about that is that it's true of us, and it's also true of the characters in our movie, which is something that's very important to us, to sort of give these characters who we will be playing, who we wrote for ourselves to play, that same sort of like discovery and that same sort of journey to just do the damn thing yourself.
Yeah. The created out of nothing.
Yeah.
The what do you have at your disposal? What kind of magic can you make if you're forced to make magic?
Within constraints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember at one point I was working with somebody who was trying to get me to really like pump up the budget or create like a couple tiers of budgets. So in case we talked to a production company, he was like, if you give them way too low of a budget, they're not going to take you seriously. So you should, create like at least a $150,000 budget. And I was just like, I don't want to. I wouldn't know what to do with that, honestly, at this point. I mean, I don't know what I would spend that money on because I don't think it would help us.
It would make a different product.
We could probably buy more hand warmers, which would be nice. That's the other
another
thing. If anyone wants to donate hand warmers.
Yeah, winter wear. We could use some of that.
I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize that the language of film involves a lot of suggestion versus showing. And so a classic example is Jaws. Most of the movie, you don't actually see the shark.
I just saw Jaws for the first time.
The shark is suggested, right, for a lot of it.
And speaking of limitations, you were supposed to see the shark,
But the
but
thing
their
broke.
animatronics kept breaking.
Exactly. So they had to do it this other way.
Right.
And it ended up working because the more opportunities you give the audience to fill in the gaps, the more invested they're going to get, and it's gonna raise the specter of whatever emotion you're trying to do. And a lot of these directors, I think of Tim Burton specifically. Whenever we talk about this, it's like Tim Burton before computer effects and Tim Burton
Oh my
after
God,
computer
absolutely.
effects. They're completely different things.
Totally.
So there are directors who learn filmmaking in one way, and then once the toolbox was there, and they're like, whatever you want, we can do it. We can show whatever. Then they ask for everything. It goes down the tubes.
Did you know that Spielberg didn't plan to just keep the shark until the very end of the movie to show it? So the whole time the plan was to show the shark
Yeah, that's what
over
she
and
just
over and
said.
over again. Yeah. But what I love about that is, so Spielberg gets interviewed and they're like, "You're a genius. You're so smart." And he's sitting there going, "Yep. And then 25 years later, when the DVD comes out and the story really starts getting traction about oh yeah, Steve's, he sunk the shark on day one, and so he was forced to do this, and so we ripped off the fin here, and you find out it really wasn't Spielberg who made these choices. It was a production designer who was like, well, shit.
Right.
What are we going to do here? And then there's another part of his career too where the same thing happened, where someone gave him a ton of credit, and they're like, "You're a genius." And it was more or less somebody else who just happened to be there who was like, "No,
Yeah, you think
it's us."
But that's what you want to be able to do as a director. I think the
Take the credit?
No, I mean that is. Listen, we were doing a camera test with Colin and our DP out in Downer, Minnesota, for this lip sync that Colin's character does. We were just testing some light, and I thought they were just going to futz with it, and they both just sort of went for it so hard, and it was incredible. And since I'm in a lot of the movie, I've been in all the camera tests, so this is my first time standing back and just watching.
Nicole's directing the movie.
I'm
as well.
directing. And I was like, oh my God, I understand why people direct. This is incredible. You bring all these insanely talented people together. They do their thing, and then you get all the credit for it. It's amazing.
or the blame if it's
Or the
not.
blame.
sure.
And that's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
it.
the
And I
gamble.
think as a director, your job really is to realize the thing. And so it's about bringing people who are capable of, who are brilliant,
Doing the thing.
bringing those people together because
Yeah.
they're the ones who will make it happen. But you're the one who has to
crack the whip.
Well, and you have to find them. You have to choose them.
So if someone offers you $100,000 tomorrow, say like, I read the script, it's amazing. I represent this Chinese corporation, and we want to get into the movie industry. We've got some notes. Do you take the $100,000 and say, listen, even with some constraints, we will still make a great movie? Or do you say like, no?
I'd say no.
I'd say no, too.
For this one. Because this one is so personal, and it's our first feature, and we've put our blood, sweat, and tears into
For
it.
5 years.
And if you gave us $100,000, even if we took even if we used our $43,000 budget that we've brought out now, even if we split the rest of it between us, so we got paid, we'd still be making.
Wait, I changed my answer. I would take that money.
But you'd get $30,000, which isn't enough to live on.
Right.
Well, I live on that sometimes, but it's not enough to balance out like what you'd be giving up. Now, if someone wanted to give me $2 million, then we'd have a conversation. But
so if anyone's listening,
and I guess if you
Movie's only getting released in the Philippines.
$2 million for the script of Glob Lessons, we can talk. But I mean, I'm definitely interested in the future about wanting to. I mean, we've got lots of things we've written. There's lots of things I still want to write.
We've got lots of
So
ideas.
this is just the beginning.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
but this thing's our baby.
Yeah.
And I'd love to work on other people's stuff. As an actor, obviously, I love working with other people. I love collaborating. I'd love from the things we write to be directed and used by other people. But this one's ours.
So because you're making the movie in North Dakota for the most part, right? And not the whole thing, most
North
of it?
Dakota, Minnesota.
The whole thing. Yeah, North Dakota, Minnesota.
Okay. So there's nothing that takes place like in New York or anything
No,
like that?
we might shoot a scene in New York depending on there's one other like long scene that his character has with another guy. And we might we're talking to a couple of people about playing that part. So if we can't get them out here, we might shoot that back there, but pretend it's here.
So I guess that's my question. So you're coming to an area where you've got a history and a background, but really, are you going to be pulling from are you going to get people to play virtually themselves like in this town? Like, are there, do you need an elementary school full of kids? And
yeah.
so
Yeah.
the kids are playing the kids. You're not having auditions for Mrs. Thompson's class.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's both.
It is both, yeah.
There's lots of kids, and that was actually a huge hurdle that we spent years, honestly, trying to figure out how we were going to get crowds of kids. Like, how do you get people to just, give you all their children?
kids.
Yeah. Can I have your
turn a
children
camera on
for a
them.
while?
Do you know how expensive daycare is nowadays?
Yeah,
They would
exactly.
be glad to give you their kids for the
that's what I
day.
started thinking about. But really, a lot of this, too, has to do with, part of this has been about coming around to, this was always our dream. But the space between growing up here and becoming a filmmaker seemed really, really far away for me. Being an actor, I do the same thing now in New York as I did in school plays. Like doing a play.
You go to rehearsal, you
literally
memorize
the
the
same
lines,
thing.
you do the thing. Yeah.
But making a movie, seemed really far away. And so part of it is we're going to do what we call a young filmmakers workshop in conjunction with production. So we're going to have 1 or 2 days where we're going to be introducing aspects of filmmaking to kids while we'll also be filming them.
Cool.
So we'll culminate in a film shoot.
So there'll be
Cool.
So we'll get the reactions and that sort of thing while we're bringing sort of the basics of filmmaking, hopefully in an interesting way, to them. Because I didn't even really know what we called whoever held the camera the director when we made movies. If you held the camera, you directed it.
Yeah.
You were called the director. And we would just love to really close the gap early on for kids that you can do this. Your stories are valuable, especially with technology now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one thing we didn't have
We did
growing
not
up
have
too.
that, yeah.
YouTube didn't exist. It didn't exist. So
I'm a big fan of insourcing to North Dakota. So I appreciate what you're doing with that because if I was in middle school and someone was like, hey, listen, they're doing this filmmaking class.
exactly.
I'd be like,
Yeah, and at the end of it, you get to be in a
Exactly.
movie yourself.
No!
Yeah, exactly. That
I would
would've
have
been-
someone
jumped at
start
it.
up in sweatpants.
I
Yeah, exactly.
going out on the town.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken Trollwood classes if there wasn't video production classes.
Right.
Oh,
Which is the
yeah.
best
Yeah.
the best summers of my life. taking those classes.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I mean, we wouldn't be here if you hadn't taken that class.
Absolutely.
But like
yeah,
hanging
it's
out with
all
your friends and making
connected.
videos kicks
Totally.
ass.
It's like, it was my
It's the
favorite.
best
It's still
thing
my
you can
favorite
possibly-
thing.
It's
It's
the
my
best way to
favorite
spend
thing
your
to
summer.
do.
It's the best
It's
way
the
to
best
spend
way
your
to spend
summer.
your life,
Yeah.
man. If you can do it, then do it.
Make
Just-
stuff with your friends.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so Colin
Uh-oh.
took video production in the same teacher and classes that I and JJ did. And you
Hi,
had a
Greg.
character
I did.
who we brought up on the Cholo News at Noon episode called PBJ Wonder.
PBJ Wonder.
One of my faves, especially because especially if you compare a lot of the characters that kids made in those classes, most kids didn't do as much like creation work as you did. PBJ had a look, he had a style, right? Like there was a costume you always brought in, and it totally worked. You're like, I get why he's PBJ Wonder.
Yep. I don't remember why it was PBJ Wonder. I don't know where it came from. What I do know, and this is something I have to correct you on, it was PBJ Wonder, but it wasn't Wonder like Wonder Bread. It was Wonder. So it looked like
Oneater.
Yeah.
PBJ Oneater.
Okay.
And the thing I liked about that too, and I remember this too, is that it was like he was both in the field and behind a desk. So he would like introduce the segment. That's right. And then he would
Pitch to himself.
And then he would dash off camera, and then he would every time you would cut to him in the field, he would dash into the camera and then do it in reverse on the way
an
out, which
awesome
I thought,
gag.
I don't know where that came from, but it was
awesome.
I love
That's
that character.
funny.
If I can
Absolutely.
find those videos, man, I remember you and Greg and JJ talking about it. Those videos.
Yeah.
being
Between Greg and
digitized,
I, we
am
have everything.
fully
You
on
do?
board.
Yeah. Between
I'm on
Greg and I,
board.
we have everything.
It has
I'm on
sparked
board.
a revolution on the social medias for
Oh,
people
man.
declaring
Yeah.
a need.
Please.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so at the moment right now, the plan is to first archive everything and get it digitized because a lot of stuff is still on VHS tapes.
Oh man.
Still on VHS tapes.
Wow.
And mini DV tape. Yeah, because that was the days of tape. But Greg has most of them. I've got a few things, but I don't think I have any PBJ Wonder, unfortunately.
I'll look around.
Greg
myself.
probably has.
Greg
that.
would have.
Yeah.
Greg would
Yeah.
have everything.
Yeah.
At one point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
he's so good at curating, like that guy.
He is.
He's my hero.
Greg is awesome.
Total hero.
Okay, so we're wrapping it up. So if
Okay.
you have any answers to my questions, Colin,
I forgot what they all were. And
Well,
don't-
if you
don't
could- I don't
ask me
think
again.
Colin
No.
prefixed to
Directly
your name.
answered a single question that you
No,
had.
I evaded and evaded and evaded the whole thing. No.
a prefix, captain,
Nope.
no,
No.
reverend,
Chef.
chef,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Chef
Okay.
Froeber.
chef
Colin?
Froeber,
Top chef.
Chef Colin or
top
Chef Froeber?
chef Froeber.
Bottom chef. That's a good
Oh,
joke.
hello.
Sorry.
I like that. That's a
Nice.
good
You're
one.
welcome.
Nice.
So-
Our beloved friend Matthew Burkholder would have loved the fact that
I
you had gone into
know.
children's theater
I
like
know.
that.
God bless
He followed
him.
a very similar
He
path.
did, yeah.
He was one of the bananas in pajamas
I
for
know
East
that.
Coast
I know.
appearances.
Oh my God, he had the craziest. He was in Japan for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Doing that?
He
had weird
even had a
stories.
story where he went to some like presentation from like one of the Miss Americas.
Oh my God, dressed
And
as a
in her
pajama?
he just
Banana?
went, and in her she did like a slideshow thing and of her life as Miss America. I think it had been a few years prior, and there was a slide of her with one of the bananas in pajamas, and he was like, that's me.
Oh my God.
I know that's me because I recognize where it's
Oh
at,
my
and
God.
I remember that day. So he went and stalked her and was like, yeah, I'm
I'm
B2
that banana.
over on
Incredible.
the side.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a movie.
An underrated movie.
Yeah. Or just something that you want to pitch to people, like
Pitch?
yeah, like a movie like you want people to see.
How much Steven Soderbergh have you guys watched?
I don't even know. I don't know.
A good number.
So-
What was the last movie you watched?
I'm so bad at movies. 8th grade. See,
Okay,
8th
did
grade.
you like 8th grade?
I loved it. Yes, it's very
That
good.
scene in the back of the car was the most uncomfortable I have been in a theater in
Yes,
decades.
agreed. And that kid who plays the little kid who does the chicken nugget date
Oh,
at the
he's a
end,
genius.
He blew my. He reminded
Yeah.
me of you a little bit, JJ. Actually,
That's how awkward I
That's
was.
it blew my
Yep,
mind.
uh-huh.
Whoever that kid is.
And you can enjoy any of the sauces if you want another.
Oh
I'll give you
my
mine. I like
God.
all of them.
Oh my God, it was incredible.
Well, Steven Soderbergh has a few movies where he casts non-actors in major roles.
Right, like
And
the
does some really
Girlfriend
cool stuff with it.
Experience
Girlfriend
one.
Experience is one. There was another one. I'm blanking on some of the names here, the more recent stuff, but he's got a lot of stuff where he's able to find these amazing, just regular people who aren't actors, but is able to figure out how to place them in something.
Oh, yeah.
And get something
Yeah.
amazing
like
out
the Florida
of them.
Project. I'm gonna
Oh,
pitch
the
Yeah.
Florida
that one
Project
too.
is absolutely incredible.
I think Alexander Payne does a great job with that too. In the movie Election, there's actually
Election.
only 4 actors in the whole movie. Everybody else are like, he found Chris Klein at that high school.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
he was touring
crazy.
at high school and he's like, that kid is my jock. Like, I found him. Like, let's get him going. But
Wow.
the janitor, the other kids, they all were just
It's amazing.
people in that town. He just, I love it.
Here's a little bit of Alexander Payne trivia for the two of you.
Please.
Do you know who he used to date?
No.
No.
Lisa Farnham from Trollwood.
Stop it.
Yep.
Yep. So she met him as a student at Concordia during like one of the summer language camps,
Oh my
and
God.
like they dated for that summer.
And he was a student?
And he was a student.
Oh, because he's from the Midwest. He's like from Ohio or
Yeah,
something.
but like kids from all over were coming into those camps.
Yeah.
And then they stayed in touch. And then when he was doing the research for Citizen Ruth, who's based on a woman from Fargo, he came
Oh, I
here.
didn't
and,
know that.
Yeah, he came here and she helped him do all the research for it.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Whoa.
Yeah. So and she still
Hey,
talks to him every
girl.
once in a while.
That's
Hey.
crazy.
Tucker and I went to the 48-hour film
Albuquerque.
project in Albuquerque.
Love the
and
48-hour film
he
project.
was their like presenter, their keynote. And so I went to the keynote and afterwards I was like, everyone was trying to get his attention. I was like, I know Lisa Farnham. And he's like, hey, you're that kid I know. I'm supposed to know. And I was like, yeah, you fucks. You like that? And I was like, listen, Rolf Kent is really good at writing scores, huh? Yeah, I love Al. I don't think he's made a bad movie, in my opinion. Each of them has a different sweetness to it, and they're
I'm kind of obsessed with his latest one, which no one saw, and it's insane, but everyone should see it. The
What
one
is
where they
that?
shrink them down.
yeah.
Oh,
downsizing.
with-
Oh my God, you
With
guys!
Matt
I was
Damon.
just watching that on the plane today.
It's so good. It's
No, it
insane.
was
I know. I
boring.
love it.
I found it
You're
boring.
wrong. It's so good.
I was falling asleep.
You
I fell-
were
I was
on
on
a
an-
plane
I was on
and
an
you're
airplane.
sick.
I
Shut
was
up.
on an airplane.
It's so good. It's so weird.
Downsizing, without a doubt, was probably his biggest budget ever
Yeah.
in a movie
I'll watch
because
the
there's
rest
a
of it, I
lot
promise.
of there's a lot of effects. There's a lot of
It's
stuff that goes
nuts,
into
but
it.
I was into it.
Yeah, it was very good. I definitely dig it. So
Yeah.
all right.
I'll
so
finish it. I'll finish it.
No,
Thank
you
you for
won't.
the
Alexander Payne, if you're
probably-
listening to this,
We love you.
We
we
love you.
appreciate
We love
what you
you.
do.
We know Lisa Farnham too.
Yeah.
You know Lisa Farnham.
You know Lisa Farnham. Maybe he should fund your movie because you
Ooh,
know
hey,
Lisa
if you're
Farnham.
listening-
Yeah, we-
Actually, reach out to Lisa Farnham
Yeah,
and be
maybe we
like,
should.
what kind of pull do you have with Alexander these days?
Yeah. I haven't talked to Lisa Farnham since I played her in that fake Trollwood promotional video we did.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That never aired.
Yeah.
It got
'cause
pulled at the last minute.
They looked at it and they were like, no.
It was. It would have been 2005, maybe 2006. It was like one of the anniversaries of Trollwood.
Oh yeah.
And they asked me to do a bunch of these videos. So I did like 12 videos for them. And there was one video they said, you can do whatever you want. That's the one that everything else will tell you what to do. One video, you can do whatever you want. And I
Whoa.
didn't think of anything until like 2 days before I was supposed to turn it in. And so I got you, me, Burkholder, Davey Brunsvold, and Brad Delzer. And we did a fake behind the scenes of the powers that be at Trollwood deciding what to do for like the next season.
Oh my God.
And we just improvised and just like made fun of them.
Who did you all play?
hard. I was Carrie Winterstein. You were Lisa Farnham. Matt was John Marks.
Of course.
Davey was
Michael,
Michael Wallen.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow.
Delzer.
Delzer was Joe Dodd.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun. Oh, God, that was great.
And
Upload it.
Yeah,
Does
Michael-
that exist somewhere?
I have it. Michael
my God.
Walling asked so they didn't play it. And then
But people, like the 4 people who saw it, one of them told someone else, yeah, we watched this video. It's pretty offensive the way that they parodied everybody. And so then naturally everyone wanted to see it.
Of course.
Duh.
And Michael Walling left me a voicemail like, "Hey, I heard you made this really great movie, and I really would like to see it. I like the stuff you do."
Oh my God.
Okay, so I burned him a DVD and I put it in his mailbox. He's never spoken to me since then.
No.
Yeah.
Burn that bridge right there.
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
That's probably
Burned
I
it.
like Michael. I've known Michael since I was a little kid, because my dad would take me to Trollwood all the
Yeah.
time. So always hanging around Trollwood. So he can't be mad at me for too long. That was like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was
We're
like
all
20 years
cool.
ago almost.
We're
All right,
good.
what's the website?
www.
Do we really need to say that?
They're probably
In-
three W's,
in-
yeah.
in the
It's also
description?
HTTP.
Colin.
Backslash,
Okay, it's
backslash.
Glob Lessons
Angelfire.com.
movie. GlobLessonsMovie.com. That's Glob
GLOB.
B
Lessons.
Lessons
Movie.
movie. .com.
Did you add movie because Glob Lessons was already taken?
Totally.
There are so many other Glob Lessons
totally
out
taken.
there.
Really?
No, just so you know it's a movie. and
Just
not
so,
something
just so
else.
that the Glob Lessons empire, like you can have the movie, you can have the merchandise,
Yeah,
you can have
exactly.
the
When you come
novelization.
to the
Yeah,
Glob
exactly.
Lessons theme park,
Glob
Glob-
Lessons, the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Flamethrower.
Flame flower.
flame-
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
meant.
exactly.
Flamethrower.
Right, the flamethrower. Cool.
All right. And then and go to Kickstarter and give you guys a ton of cash.
yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Your hard-earned dollars and cents. Or,
Yeah.
Or just send us good vibes.
Or good
some good
love.
vibes, huh? Okay.
Good vibes matter too.
Okay.
Also
Awesome.
cash. Also money. Money, please. Also, please, money.
See, you're the director and you're the producer, obviously. I see how it goes.
If by
Good
good
vibes and
vibes you
cash.
mean cash, yes. Please send
all of
lots
that.
of
Please
good
send
vibes.
me all your good vibes cash. Colin and Nikki, thank you guys so much for coming by JJ Meets World.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
JJ Meets World.
That does it for this episode. Thank you folks so much for coming along with us on our podcast journey. And hey, it would be great if you could do a couple of things for us real quick. I mean, you probably have a couple more minutes left on your commute, or, I mean, you're not working anyway right now. So head on over to iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you consume the podcast that you love, and give us a 5-star rating, or 5 fish, or 5 outlets, or however their rating system is based. We want the maximum amount on that format. So while you're there, also hit subscribe, because every time you download an episode, it's good for us. I'd love for you to download and listen to them, because that's even better, but at least just download them. That's literally the least that you can absolutely do to help ensure that we go on. Speaking of us going on, JJ Meets World is funded completely through your donations at patreon.com/JJ Meets World. Every dollar, every nickel, every quarter helps. So if you can spare a couple of bucks this month, if you can say, listen, I don't need a pumpkin spice latte, I'll just steal some coffee from Roy at work, because he never, ever suspects me. Steal that coffee from Roy and then enjoy the free content we're putting out. Over 60 hours of free podcast content has gone out so far. So please, 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 patreon.com/JJ Meets World. And while you're on the internet, why don't you head over to moonbasemaria.com. That is the home website of my producer extraordinaire, Mr. Tucker Lucas. You can find all of his great works on there. Just FYI, he's working on projects right now that he actually filmed like a decade ago. It's pretty, he needs to just get on the ball and get that taken care of. Speaking of another website that hasn't been updated in a long time, you can go see me about 30 pounds lighter at linebenders.com, where I haven't updated my file folder since I was 24. So going on 11 years now. You can also book the Linebenders for any of your holiday entertainment, or if you've got an employee party, maybe you've got something for your clients. We are very, very impressive, and we can be paid by cash or check. Listen, as we're wrapping this thing up, I think it's important that we have a PSA moment here, and this is it. Kids today are not putting bugles on their fingers nearly enough. Of course, I've seen parents shame their children for putting black olives on the tips of their fingers, and I just want us to live in a pro-bugle society, because if kids aren't putting bugles and pretending to have witches' fingers, then is that really a world worth living in?